You keep dancing with the devil. One day he's gonna follow you home.
I believe I am mislabeled package. I wonder what course of action I could take.
It's digital too. We'll figure out where to redirect it.
And what if by chance you cannot?
That's when things get interesting.
I've been all over this world. They don't pay me to be a crime detective. Get back inside. Love you, brother. Be careful. I will.
We have this fella, a genius really, Jasper, who can track down anything.
I seen men die in ways I ain't even know was possible. With all the things that I seen, I ain't never seen no demons, no ghosts, no magic. Till now. Let me in, man! Some weird shit going on out here!
Yes, y'all, it's going down right now. Episode 292 of the Triple Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast is coming at you live and direct with the homie JP, also known as the Mexicans. And of course, we got Mr. No Fact Checks Tyler in the house, also known as Mr. Saucedo. And I'll be your host from the foreign land of Canada, the toxic offender, Moodz. Yeah. What's going on, dudes?
What up? What up? What up?
What up? What up? Yeah. I feel out of sorts on this show right now.
Why is that?
Because this wasn't supposed to be the show that we were doing.
Yeah, fucking Tyler over here making us audible.
I was getting all jacked up to do the show that we were going to do, and then all of a sudden it was like, change of plans, and I was like, shit. But here we are. We put together a show pretty quick because, of course, all three of us had made it to the cinema to see Sinners. And then we just like, well, we might as well pair it up with another 2025 film. And then so we just decided the quickest watch for all of us was something that was readily accessible, streamable, which was, of course, Dead Mail from Shudder. Yeah. So this is going to be a 2025 show, I guess. Right. So we don't do a lot of these modern ones, but I'm fine. I'm just happy that we're actually recording because I didn't really think anything was going to happen because JP kind of shit the bed on this one, but
I didn't shit the bed.
Yeah, everybody's trying to blame it on me.
Yeah. What does Tyler have to do with you being way too busy?
Because Tyler said that he had something going on and we had to push it back. I remember.
No, I just said it worked out for me. But
it worked out for you. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I would have had to watch like all of the Hills Have Eyes movies if like that was still on the schedule for next weekend, like by like Wednesday.
Yeah, but I mean, you still got to get the prep done for next week's show.
Yeah, but I was already.
Yeah, but I think he's already halfway done. Or almost
I'm already doing that. I'm kind of just like deliberating. Like I have a pool of movies that like I could go with any of the five, and I'm just like not sure what my five are.
Yeah, I was kind of in the same boat too. Like I had literally a stack of movies. I probably had like 10 or 12, and I was kind of sifting through, and I was like, "Hey, what's going to go get together?" Kind of like mix it up a little bit and stuff. Do I want to do this one? Do this one? It was
too like I was like getting some in there where I was like, I don't want to do both of these because these ones are too similar, and I'd rather do like different type of movies.
Like I easily could have shown up with 5 movies, but I wanted to like watch them.
Right.
So like I didn't feel comfortable talking about them without watching them. I just didn't have time.
Right.
I thought I would have to. It actually probably would have been easier for me to watch the Hills Have Eyes movies during that. But it was like like in my head the whole time I was like I could just like hammer all 5 of them out over the weekend. But me being an idiot, I'm like, wait, I'm gonna be gone all weekend. Like, how am I gonna hammer them out over the weekend? So just me being stupid. Hey, give me back my.
You know what we should have done? We should have just done like Doom Asylum and something else.
Doom Asylum.
Well, we've already done. Have we reviewed? Yeah, we already did Brain Damage and Frankenhooker.
Yeah, the only one we didn't do was his Bad Biology movie. No, we did do that. We did do Bad Biology.
Yeah, no, I think we've reviewed everything by Head and Lauder. So Doom Asylum would have been the one that you were watching that we could have done that we've never done on the show before. I don't know what the fuck we pair that with, because the other night for your drive-in was all Nightmare on Elm Street movies, which of course we're not just going to pick one out of there to do. We'll eventually do the franchise way down the road. But yeah. No, it was like, and then of course we're like, oh, let's, change the date for this show that we were originally going to do until later this week. And I was like, man, if it had been this past week, I definitely could have done it. But man, this week is so busy for me. I have so much shit going on. I'm just like, it's not going to work. I can't record until next Sunday.
So let me ask you this then.
Yeah.
So since we're like a week delayed now with everything.
Yeah.
Are we scrapping Hills Have Eyes, or are we still doing Hills Have Eyes?
Well, we could probably do it after the top 10 of 59 if I'm around. But the thing is, there's only a couple more record dates until the annual break.
Right. So I'm saying, like, do we want to do the May 11th, do that as Hills Have Eyes, and then just find a spot for 59 when you're available? Or how do you want to do it?
So we're going to scrap the show that we were supposed to do this weekend?
No, we're still we still do Hidden Gems. And then the week after, instead of Hills Have Eyes, or instead of 59, we do Hills Have Eyes, and then find a spot for 59 whenever you're free. Or
you mean like, okay, yeah, because the last show before the break is usually always our throwback show kind of thing, right? I don't know. The thing is, like, the reason why,
or do we still keep 59 and find a spot for Hills Have Eyes?
Yeah, we'll just.
I feel like we could do Hills Have Eyes in the summer. I think that would make a good summer franchise too.
It actually does, kind of, because it really does take place
like a summer movie.
It does,
because
it feels like vacation. Half the movies.
Well, the movie really starts out with a family on vacation. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, I mean, of course, yeah, I think that's the way to go. Cause I got one movie left to watch. I don't really have to watch it for 59, but the prep's done. I'm just going to start doing my final rewatches and then just kind of make my list essentially through that. So, I mean, I already know most of my list and shit like that. How are you guys doing on the actual prep for 59? Cause it's like a couple weeks away.
Bad.
It's like 2 weeks away.
I'll pretty much just use like the week, like that we have, and just watch like 3 a day, and that'll give me like 3, 6, 9, 12. Like that'll give me another like 20 at most.
Yeah,
because most of them are all short.
They're short.
I think the last one I watched was The Fly, Return of the Fly.
Yeah,
I got probably 10 to 12 left, so I'm rounding the bases.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it was a pretty easy prep year. Not an abundance of films, and they're relatively short, like you guys mentioned, so that really helps. But yeah, I think I'll end up with like probably 44 or something like that. So I wanted to do 59, but like there isn't even 59 to do.
No, it's you be reaching.
So let me ask you this: so last time we specifically we put 50s and 60s in there? So this time, are we putting just 60s in there?
Yeah, I think it's going to be from 1960 to 67. Because our modern or our normal to 67. Well, I mean, we've done 68 already, but so 69 falls into the modern.
69 we put in the modern. Yeah,
it's in the modern.
I'm actually really excited if it's those years. Oh, those are some good.
I know, because to be honest, like 1960 to 67, there's a lot of really solid years in there.
Yeah, 1960 is like an actual banger, and so is 64.
Yeah.
And so that'll be our next year's May show.
And then it just resets.
So the retro one will always be the end of the season, essentially.
So then it resets itself. So then it'll be 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s or 50s available for the next one.
Right.
So, and then, so then it kind of dwindles down after a decade is picked and stuff, which is kind of a cool way of doing it. Right. So,
yeah, I think so.
And then our next big year is going to be a 2000s, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So after we record 92, it'll be a 2000s.
So that'll be between 2000 and 2009, not including
2002
and 5. So there's really like
no, it'll be 2000 to 2012, not including 11 and
right, because we never did those, right?
5 and 2.
Yeah, so there's 3 years in there that we've actually done. So there's technically what does that leave? 9 years in the randomizer. A couple of those are not very good years, but the latter half of that is actually pretty good. I wouldn't mind actually getting 2012. That would actually be pretty fun to do.
2012 or 10 is a banger. Both of those are bangers.
I'm just worried about getting 2000 and just being like super bored with the because like, I mean, I've went through those years a couple times and just kind of skimming through to see what's there.
Yeah,
and you're like, damn, dude,
right now.
like 2000 is not a great, like every year has good movies, but we're talking like, I like having fun with the prep too. Like some years are just really fun overall. You don't feel like you're slugging it out, but 2000, I feel like there is, but it has changed a little bit. Like even how we always used to make fun of 97 and shit like that. Like just all the years that we've been doing this, 97 has all of a sudden just showcased a few other kind of good movies that we're discovering throughout the year. So it's like, it's made the year a little bit better. So, but I mean, every year.
Yeah. I think that like genuinely, like obviously like the 80s have like the best movies and the ones we're most nostalgic about, but like I actually prefer getting like the 90s out of everything. I enjoy the 90s stuff, like prep wise, because there's always like stuff that I've just never seen in there too. I don't know. I mean, I like everything I think for me, I don't like doing the same eras multiple times in a row. Yeah. Like that one time we were going like 70s, like I think 3 out of the 4 were like a 70s or something.
Yeah, we should be naked. We should have been taking out the decades as we were doing the randomizers. So that didn't really happen. Like if we got the 70s, take it out, then you got the 80s, 90s, and 2000s kind of thing, and then just kind of dwindle it down and reset it. But yeah, I mean,
so basically, like after the 2000s, though, we will put everything that we haven't done from 70s, 80s, 90s in there, and then if we get like, let's say the 80s, then the next one it'll be removed, and it'll be the 2000s, 90s, and 70s.
Yeah.
So I think we're finally like kind of squared away with the process.
Really, the 2000s will be back in there because like if we did the 2000s and then we got the 80s, then the 2000s could be eligible again.
Yeah.
Well, or we could take it out for 2 cycles, but it just has to be in before we fit, like basically at some point to keep everything like even. Because the 2000s right now is the last one we haven't done from this cycle.
Right.
So that's why it's the 2000s. But anyway, what's been up?
I don't know, chilling, man. It seems like it's been a really slow, like there's really nothing has been going on. Nothing big. I mean, we did mention that rest in peace to Lar Park Lincoln, who recently passed away at the age of 63, which is crazy. If you're not familiar with who she is, she's of course the star of Nightmare. Fuck, we're just talking about Nightmare. Friday the 13th, Part 7.
Yeah, she was in an episode of Freddy's Nightmares as well.
That's right, she was. I don't actually remember what episode she was in, but she's probably most famous in our horror world, our genre world, is basically playing kind of a Carrie character in Part 7. So where she fights Jason with her telekinetic powers. So that's sad. That's sad. Rest in peace to her. But yeah, no, like I was on Bloody Disgusting here because we haven't really been off, but there hasn't really been much happening. Like, you guys know anything that's really been happening that's exciting? I know there was a couple of people at work asked me if I saw like the teaser trailer for Badlands or something like that, or maybe the trailer for it.
What is Badlands?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that.
Hey, get your ass out from over there, dude.
The new Predator movie.
Oh,
no,
I just saw people talking shit about the look of the Predator.
Oh, dude, somebody said it looked like fucking Rawhead Rex, and then I was like, oh god damn it. Now I can't unsee that.
That's ridiculous if that's true.
It's kind of funny. I saw that comment and I was like, and then I went back and looked and I was like, oh, motherfucker. Totally. I can see where they're coming from with that. So, I mean, I'm always excited for, Alien and Predator shit. So, I mean, I haven't seen the teaser trailer at all. So I can't actually comment on what it looks like. I just saw the pictures of the Predator. So, I don't know. Like I said, I'm always down for it. I mean,
one trailer I randomly did see over like the last 2 weeks, and I was floored. Like I could not believe like what I was like looking at. Have you guys seen the trailer for the new Megan movie?
I only saw the teaser on that.
Yeah, I think I saw the teaser when we went to saw Sinners.
2.
Yeah, I think I might have caught the tail end of it. I'm not interested in any ways.
It's like a Marvel movie now. It's like Terminator 2. Like that's the jump it made. Like there's a bad Megan with like bootleg technology, so they upgrade this Megan. Now it's like two robots like fighting each other.
Dude, what the fuck? That's totally like, Terminator 2.
They're literally like flying around, like shooting shit out of their hands. Like I don't know how the jump they made from the first movie to this, but like I cannot believe what I was watching.
Wow. Somebody was like, hey man, let's just, instead of using the narrative that we should have in Megan Part 6, we're just going to do it for Part 2. We're just going to jump the Shark Tank.
Yeah, it doesn't even look like a horror movie now. It just looks like some like robot movie.
Looks very sci-fi with would you say Megan versus bootleg Megan?
Yeah, it was like someone like took the Megan technology and they like made their own like without any like the safety checks, and they like mess with it. Now there's like a fucking like assassin Megan like flying around shooting people. So they take the old Megan technology, like we need to beef this up, so they go fight each other.
Dude, what the no, I mean, like I said, I kind of just saw the ass end of it, but
yeah, it just looks like some sci-fi action movie now. Like I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
I think the teaser trailer that maybe I saw, because I was actually I really wasn't paying attention. I was on my phone and the trailers were playing because I really don't watch the trailers anyways because I try to avoid it. But I looked up and I saw the end. I just wasn't even listening, but I just kind of saw like this image of Megan or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. But I knew obviously that there was a new one coming out. So I knew what it was right away.
Yeah, I figured it'd be like basically the last one, but apparently not. Apparently they're thinking big.
Man, that's quite the jump though. Like really. In narrative wise, like, I mean,
yeah, but it's got all the same characters too, so it's like it almost like just doesn't even fit.
It'll be something that'll probably do well because I'm pretty sure that Megan film did really well. So, I mean, I get it, I understand because it's not really marketed towards someone like me per se. Yeah. Maybe somebody simple-minded like JP. We can make fun of JP right now because he's not here. He stepped away again, so I'm just going to rip on him for being a Megan lover. No, I'm just joking. I'm not calling people that like Megan simple-minded. I'm calling JP simple-minded. But it's just not for me. I'm not really into those type of movies. Like, I mean, I was into them back in the day with, watching Child's Play and shit like that. And, I can fuck with those little killer doll films and shit. Dolly Dearest and shit was fine. But I don't know, man. This one it did nothing for me. It did nothing but just showcase the formula in a modern way. It's
kind of a Gen Z movie.
Yeah, it's totally. It for me, I was like, I've seen this before and a lot fucking better. And it's not even the case. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, you got to reinvent the fucking wheel every time you make a new horror movie. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying it did absolutely nothing for me personally. And I'm not trying to, and I would never, and Megan's a perfect example of a film I would never tell people not to watch, because just because it's not for me doesn't mean it's not for you. In fact, a lot of people like that movie and that's fine. And I liked it. I had exactly what I said. It was enjoyable. I know. I called you simple-minded for liking it when you were away.
I mean, sometimes like, I don't think it's like amazing or anything, but I thought it was like a cool technology run amok stuff.
Yeah. And and that's what I'm talking about. It's like, I get the appeal in it completely. It's just, it's not my type of thing. It's like, like I like movies. I'm not saying I like just extreme movies, but it's like a Serbian film. I like that movie. A lot of people don't. It's fine. It is what it is.
I like it too. I've pretty much determined that I have the most broadest taste out of all of you guys. I like everything.
No, I like a little bit of everything too. I
used to make fun of you for liking everything back when we first started, but now I've become you and I like everything. I've just accepted it by now, because here's the thing. I like I probably like mainstream, like modern horror more than you guys do.
That's
Yeah,
what
I
I
would
would
agree
probably
with that.
say. And when it
I
comes
would
to
agree
like,
with that.
you know, like me and Parker, we're very more forgiving, and we'll admit it to the, you know, to the fullest that we're a lot more forgiving with, you know, older films being not as good in quality and, you know, narrative wise. And we know they're shitty, but, you know, it's not even fully a nostalgic thing. It's just we like that type of filmmaking a little bit better. But, you know, you showcase it in a modern form. I'm just like, nah, fuck that movie.
I think one thing about modern movies, and this is probably like a plus for people, a lot of people, especially people who are just, you know, modern audiences, is the pacing is a lot quicker in modern movies for sure. And that's something I think I don't really like.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Pacing is a lot better in modern movies, and it's simply because people's attention spans could never handle slow burns of 70s films.
Yeah, but it definitely also hurts it sometimes because I'll tell you right now, bro, like sometimes the editing just drives me fucking nuts in new movies.
When it's just so quick, you just see nothing. You start because when you watch the bunch of movies, you start to notice like the difference between good editing and bad editing. And you watch some of these like American movies, especially ones like you probably saw as a kid and liked, and you realize it's just like edit to random things. You just see nothing, and they just put like music above it, and it looks like shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I've never been a big fan of that really, really fast editing style. That does actually one thing that bugs me and even watching people's YouTube videos when they over edit their shit. Like they're just doing a simple review, but it's almost like they're reading a script and they're fading in and out every couple lines and shit. I'm like, why? It's so lame. It's just so lame. Yeah, I don't understand, but I feel like that happens with modern films. Like they're just rapid style. It's like machine gun funk. You know what I mean? It's like just fucking, we need to fucking keep this shit moving along. It's like, I don't know, not for me really. But then again, I mean, I'm also one of those people that love slow burns, you know, like I love slow burn movies. Like, do you think Ty West could sell House of the Devil today? No, they'd be like, you need to make some shit happen in the first half of the or in the first 80 minutes of that movie, or else you're going to lose your audience. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but that movie was like more just like a indie.
That was an indie.
If it was like a wide release or something, I could see that happening. But
I'm just saying if it was, you know, a theatrical film, you know, with a bigger, you know, release and stuff like that. I mean, it did play theatrical though, didn't it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did actually.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? I thought it had like a minor.
If it did, it was really
either way. Like if you just
I think it played on
theatrical films, like we're also at a point where everything is like the profitability of things is like it's so like refined that the movies that play in the theater have to be to make money. It's not even whether like they're good or not. It's just they need to be able to like just create like hit some sort of like pacing thing or like have a certain thing in the movie enough to sell it. Where I feel like that's more like down to a science now than it was even like 20 years ago.
Yeah, they're edited for certain demographics, right? I think the fast paced and, you know, the fast editing and just something happening every kind of like 2 or 3 minutes in the film is for a different generation, because we grew up with films that were a little bit slower and not edited like that. We were kind of waiting, and it was always kind of a build up that, you know, there was always that kind of suspenseful build up to shit like that. And it was exciting, where I feel like that's definitely lost in translation. The process is totally changed with filmmaking because of how the mentality is of a new generation of people.
Yeah. And I don't know if this is a product of just growing up in the 90s and like seeing, you know, like 80s and 90s movies, how like at the forehand, but or maybe it's just a coincidence, but I really like movies that have like long shots and like have lots of like cinematography that just like follows people around as opposed to like these edits that like you never really see that often unless it's like some sort of like independent release.
No, I agree. I'm a really big fan of cinematography. And actually one thing that's really bugged me about, I was talking to the wife about this actually, because she was watching some show. I think The Office is shot like that with handhelds and stuff. And it's just, you know, it's constant rapid moving towards the characters. It's not editing. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like handheld cameras. It's just panning back and forth to people. And it's it almost seems like it's found footage.
It just makes it feel real.
That's the thing. That's the point. That's the point of handheld. It's supposed to feel like, you know, you're just in the moment and then, this person says something, so I'm going to pan over. They don't edit it. It's not back and forth. Yeah. It's not like it's not edited like a movie or an old TV show and stuff where they would use multiple angles and just kind of switch back and forth. But the handheld, it's something I've never been able to get used to, especially with comedy and stuff. It's definitely a new way of making sitcoms. Like I grew up, you know, obviously in the 80s and 90s, and, you know, watching shows like Seinfeld and Roseanne and stuff like that. It was just shot like typical sitcoms, right? And then I'm watching, I think she was watching The Office. I'm pretty sure it was shot like that, but she was watching something else. And I'm like, I was literally in the kitchen doing something. I was waiting for whatever I was doing. I was thinking I was making a coffee, or I don't know what the fuck it was. And I was watching the TV, and I'm like, how in the fuck can you watch this shit? Like, first of all, the comedy is lost to me because I'm focusing so much on the way it's shot. The cinematography is so obnoxiously bad for me. It's just like panning back and forth. I'm like, I feel like I'm watching the shakiest found footage movie that's just so uninteresting. And I'm literally can't listen to the characters because I'm watching this shit going, what the fuck? And my wife is 43. Like, she must be simple-minded too, because I don't know what the fuck's going on, man. With this shit. She's gonna hate me for that. Because she does actually listen to the show. No, I'm just joking, Aaron. But I don't get the cinematography. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like the way I'm not saying all sitcoms and shit like that are shot like that, but there's a lot that are, and I don't like it. It's not for me. So cinematography is a really, really big thing for me. Like, I'm not talking about like straight up, static shots and stuff. And like, like how you would shoot like a independent shot on video film where it'd be like this static shot. And then you got to shoot it. You got to pick your camera up and go to this side and then shoot this. And it's so stoic. And it's like, oh, come on, man. But there's definitely some passion in that anyways. But like, I don't know, man, the way these new things are shot, they just don't work for me at all. So can't handle it. Plus the comedy is actually not that funny. That at least she was watching, but I don't know. I don't even know.
Like, honestly, I've found very few comedies like I've really liked in the past like 10 years.
I mean, I'll be honest. I don't watch enough television shows. And
I don't watch any TV.
I call them television shows because I mean, Netflix originals, I guess, really what it is. But I mean, there's obviously new network television shows that come out like sitcoms and stuff like that too. But I don't really watch a lot of that shit anyways. I really don't. Like, I mean, I know with sitcoms, you don't need to watch every single episode to understand what's going on. It is what it is. I just can't be bothered with the shit, dude. If it's not movies, it's documentaries. Like, actually, in fact, I watched the first episode of Mr. Mcmahon, obviously that documentary. And I kind of, I didn't really forget it, but I wanted to go back to it. So I watched like 3 episodes today. I think I'm on episode. I got like 1 left or something like that. And it's just like amazing. Like, that's the type of shit I want to watch. And I learned a lot of, there was some things I actually didn't know and things I'd forgot, and just watching some of the clips. Cause I watched wrestling religiously up until McMahon bought the WCW. And then when it merged,
that's about when I stopped too, bro.
See what happened
WrestleMania last
in 2002. It was about when he bought it. Then everything got it was too big for me, but it was boring because I remember when the WWF obviously was shitting the bed, and WCW basically took all their guys and then created, the NWO just went batshit. It was like, they even talk about it, how Eric Bischoff he named his podcast 83. And it's because of WCW at the time was on top for 83 straight weeks and blah, blah, blah. And we know that WCW was just massacring WWF at the time, WWE. And it blew my mind how WCW went from basically nothing to like blowing the shitter out the frame to basically shitting in a year and actually selling to fucking McMahon. And then I was like, okay, that's crazy. And then I thought it was kind of a good idea. And then I realized that watching the battle between McMahon and Bischoff, between Nitro and Raw, was so fucking phenomenal because they would literally talk about each other on their own respectable primetime airings, right? And it was this battle. And then when that was gone and McMahon had everybody back and he had all the new WCW guys and everybody and shit, and I was like, what do you do with all these people? Sting. Yeah, Sting never came over.
I was always shocked that Sting, like, it kind of disappointed me that Sting eventually signed with WWE and his like run was like really lackluster.
It was super bad. Like,
they did not handle him for such like a guy who literally
lost his debut match too, like, which was such a mistake.
Yeah, it's like, come on, bro. Like,
that was like 2014, like 2015. Like, what did Triple H need a win for?
I know, bro. Like, Sting was like always the one that got away, right? Like, forever.
Yeah, but
I
like,
remember watching that live and thinking, like, did Triple H like really need to win over the
no,
Sting debut?
no, but like when that merger happened and shit like that, it's, I mean, it was the end of the Attitude Era. You know, NWO was obviously the Attitude Era was the answer to NWO. We all know that. But like the Attitude Era, for somebody that grew up in the 80s and 90s, I love all the old wrestling, but the Attitude Era was the most fun and crazy shit ever, because rewatching this documentary and watching and seeing clips of how exploitive it was and like how sexual and how over the fucking top
that's
it
when I
was.
started watching it.
It was so the sexuality of it is honestly jarring, like, because you forget about like just how like nuts the sexuality
Dude, it was, but it's not, it's okay. So McMahon was always about doing shit like over the top and stuff. And yeah, that was one angle to it. Like the whole Degeneration X thing was so much fun, man. Stone Cold, The Rock, like these are some of the best characters ever created in wrestling. Like they're so much fun. They can talk so well on the mics and stuff. It was so great. But like how exploitative it was. But the thing that really gets me, and I completely kind of forgot about this whole thing, was when Vince became Mr. McMahon, which he was his, you know, kind of his, he wasn't the boss. He was, you know, he was the fighter wrestler type character and shit like that. I forgot how much he incorporated his family. And that's when, you know, of course, you know, the kids were in there and the wife and stuff. And then I completely forgot about the angle where he was like dating Trish Stratus and stuff. And like he kisses her right in front of his wife. Like it's fucking bad shit. The shit that he got his kids to do, like the shit that he got Stephanie to do, where she was always getting all fucking undressed.
She was gonna get married to Test, and then like Triple H drugged her and like,
I always remember that one.
Dude, that he exploited,
Dude,
but
like,
they were cool. But they were
like
cool with it though.
The Lita, Matt Hardy, Edge fucking saga.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But anyways, my point was like when it come to like WWE, like after the merger, it was like I tried to watch it and nothing was the same. There was too many characters. They had too much shit going on. I did like the first episode where McMahon was like, you know, oh, here I am on WCW Nitro. How could this be? Blah, blah, blah. And that's how they announced that he'd like purchased WCW and merged it and shit.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of a baller fucking
it was fucking cool, dude. But then I was like so excited. I'm like, oh, dude, now we're gonna get back like all these dudes, and that's when Hogan came back eventually. And then a lot of those guys did come back, and you know, some guys kind of disappeared and went other places, but they had everybody. But it just wasn't the same for me. I couldn't get into any storylines because I think after the Attitude Era was so over the top and ridiculous and so much fun that you could never top that, and they couldn't. The storylines actually were so bad that I just wasn't into it. And like, I kind of miss like the whole beginning of John Cena. Like I remember John Cena coming in and he was nobody. And he even talks about in the documentary how he was on his way out. He was going to get fired because he was boring. He was just this guy that was in really good shape and kind of looked like Mark Wahlberg. And
I hated John Cena. I still do to this day. I don't understand how that dude got.
I didn't know how he became. I didn't know how he became the rapper character. He tells the story on the documentary about how he was basically on his way out and stuff. He was on a bus and shit like that. And he said there was a bunch of guys in the back of the bus and they were all like in a cypher and they're all rapping and shit like that. And he's like, oh, I can fucking do that. And he said he went back there and busted off everybody. He just siphoned the shit out of the whole fucking cypher, won every battle. And he didn't realize that Stephanie was on the bus. And she's like, bro, can you do that on air? And he's like, fuck yeah. That's how the character was born. I was like, that's wild, because I remember
that's what got him over.
I remember John Cena. Well, the thing is with John Cena though, too, like he actually kind of came from a little bit of the background, right? Like he grew up with the Boston hip hop scene and stuff like that. Yeah. And it's kind of interesting because he even has production from like 7L and stuff. Like I've talked about this.
He went to college like 10 minutes from where I live.
Yeah. So like his whole character, but then he just became this like overnight sensation. I was like, that's actually kind of a cool thing because it wasn't a creation that Vince came up with. It was just kind of a fluke that Stephanie kind of saw it. And yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting. But anyways, I missed that whole thing. I haven't really watched wrestling since probably 2002, 2003. I tried every once in a while. I was lost and I would see some of the old guys that I liked and stuff. It wasn't the same to me. And I don't know, man. It just, I miss that era. It was just, but anyways, the exploited angle of that era was so fucking wild. And I'm thinking to myself going, there is no plausible way you could even get away with 5% of the shit that they were doing on air in the late 90s, early 2000s with the generation that we have now. Like some of these people must, if they ever went back and watched this shit, they must just be appalled. Like it's so crazy. Even to me, I'm like, wow, dude, I forgot how fucking wild it was. Pretty wild shit, dude. Like what a great era. Like it was so exciting. So exciting. Yeah, good shit. Anyways, yeah, we like never talk wrestling on this show, but like it just got me jacked up. It really just kind of like, it was like a refresher to me, and I'd forgot about things. And, you know, oh man, the whole story of Vince McMahon and shit is just wild. Like I didn't know that like his mom like sexually abused him and shit. I was like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, it's in the documentary. It's crazy.
I haven't watched the documentary yet. I have been not watching a lot of stuff lately.
I didn't know that.
I started off hot this year, but I have like fallen dramatically.
My production has been down. I've just been like so busy at work. I get home, I'm just tired, and I just can't like stay up till midnight and watch movies like I used to.
I've been mixing up.
Things are gonna kind of calm down a little bit for me, so I should be okay.
I've been mixing up, man. Like throwing on some oldies, and I'm doing some random, probably like the other night when I said I was like, you know, watching a film, and I was in the film room, or I was going to grab a film, and I saw Red, White, and Blue, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch that. I haven't seen that in years.
How are you guys on 2025 horror? Have you guys been keeping up?
Yeah, I've watched 11, but
I'm at like 12, I think. I've pretty much seen like what's in theaters. I watched like 1 or 2 movies that weren't.
Yeah, I've watched everything in theater that I could have watched. I'll go see Until Dawn next week. But it looks like we're getting like a bunch of the ones that are coming up here, like the new Final Destination movie, the clowns in the cornfield or whatever. I think we're getting that one. So there's a bunch that are coming out.
Hurry up tomorrow.
Yeah, I think the Shroud. I think we're getting that one. Like I've been seeing trailers. I can't imagine not getting.
I'd be surprised if you got the Shroud's like a real limited release.
Is it really? It's limited. But then again, I've
Did said you get his last movie?
No, and that's the thing, and we've had this problem with Canadian movies not being released in Canada. Yeah. They get more of the release down in the States. It's so weird how that happens. I don't understand.
His last movie played at my Cinemarks, and this movie is not. I can see it at like my art, my like little indie theater.
I've seen his last movie in the theater, and it bored me to tears.
I still haven't even seen it.
For it. I didn't really care for it.
But Merriman said that he really liked Shroud, so that's promising at least.
It looks like it's going to be a mixed bag for people, but I think most of Cronenberg's later work kind of is though. So
yeah,
we'll see.
I was talking, we actually should add Cronenberg Volume 3 to next year's slate.
Yeah, because we didn't get as far as doing Dead Ringers, and I just found out through chat, because you know we actually talk every single day, that Tyler is a really big fan. In fact, it's like one of his favorite movies of all time. I was like, really?
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, I love Dead Ringers.
I think he gave me it to review before on.
I could have, because there was like a time period that like I thought that movie. I don't think it is now. I still love it, but I thought it was like one of the best ones I've ever seen in my life. Like at one point,
right?
I actually really like it as well. I like that movie.
That was just like a movie. I hadn't really seen like a really like a psychological like horror movie that like really like kind of like got to me and got me like it just like mortified me in a way. Like at that point, it was like an entirely new like feeling I got for a movie. This probably would have been like 2014.
When I first watched Dead Ringers, probably must have been the early 90s, I guess. I didn't like it at all. It wasn't my thing. Couldn't get into it. So I didn't rewatch it forever. Probably, I would probably say in the mid 2000s, probably when the DVD came out or whatever. And then was like, why didn't I like this movie? It's probably because I was too young. I probably didn't grasp it. So I guess that happens sometimes, because it's not like your typical mindless, you know, kind of fucking slasher film or whatever. It's psychological.
A slow burn movie too.
It's slow,
not a fast-paced movie.
It's psychological, and honestly, I wouldn't have really understood.
Yeah, there's a lot of dialogue.
Well, the themes that were going on in the film too, right? Like,
yeah.
So I think it is kind of for an educated mind, a little bit older too. But I can see the like in it though. It's really good. It's a good movie. Good acting too.
So what did you say? You left off at The Fly was the last one you watched? No, Dead Zone was the last one? So this next 3 movies would have been... Was Dead Ringers his next movie? There's no way he went that long without making a movie.
We didn't do The Fly.
You didn't?
Well, no, we've actually never done The Fly, but I think we would save that for the Fly franchise.
That's why we never did The Flies, because we were just going to do the Fly.
I think the next volume would be like Naked Lunch, Crash, and Dead Ringers.
Dead
Does that
Ringers is
sound right?
88.
Yeah, Dead Ringers is first, and then
Are you skipping M Butterfly? I think it's very
well
skippable.
that's later, but
Is
That
that
was
a
like
horror movie?
91 or something. It's like a dark drama.
yeah, I guess yeah, because Crash is 96, and then
Yeah.
And
Crash
then
isn't a horror movie, but it's just a way better movie than
it's just a fucking weird.
Yeah.
I mean,
And,
Crash
yeah.
is definitely fits in like the territory
yeah.
of the stuff.
It's a
I love
hardcore
Crash
genre
too.
film. It's a hardcore genre. It's one of those
Yeah.
films you don't even know how to classify it. Like what does it fit into?
It would either be Dead Ringers, Naked Lunch, and Butterfly, or Dead Ringers, Naked Lunch, and Crash. That would be the.
I actually really like Naked Lunch. So
Yeah, I like Naked Lunch. Naked Lunch is like kind of
Well, Naked Lunch is
sci-fi.
definitely Dead Ringers and Naked Lunch is definitely in there, but the third one would depend on what we count.
Yeah, M Butterfly is kind of more of a drama.
I can't even really remember it. It's weird.
It's bad, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can't remember. That's probably why I can't remember it. But I just Naked Lunch is such a trip. It's a fucking trip. It really is.
I think we should each like select like 2 shows that we definitely want to do next season. Like for me, I really want to do the 8 Films to Die For as a show, the first season. I know it's 8 movies and it's a big show, but
I would be down for that shit too, man. Like the first 2 seasons are great. The third one is the weakest. They made a good return on the fourth one. There's some good ones in there. The third one's like mostly misses though. None of them are atrocious. None of them are like Hall of Painters though. Like, you know what I mean? But like the first 2 seasons have such a good mixture of really good films like Mulberry Street. And there's some good ones. Nightmare Man's good. So there's some good shit.
I've seen most of the first season, I think. Hamilton's, you got Dark Ride,
Grave Dancers.
Dancers.
I can't remember which seasons, what movies are from what. I know those are from the first 2.
Those were all the ones I just named our first season.
There was the little children. No, what's that one? The Kids in the Forest. Can't remember the fucking title of that one is. That's actually a pretty good movie.
So the first year it was The Abandoned, Dark Ride, Grave Dancers, The Hamiltons, Penny Dreadful, Reincarnation, Unrest, and Wicked Little Things.
Wicked Little Things. That's the one I'm thinking of. That one's good. The Abandoned actually has a unreleased.
Yeah. So there were 3
Blu-ray.
There were 3 other movies that were also shown at some of the festivals, and 2 other movies. That was Hood of Horror and The Tripper,
right?
In the first series,
right? Which we could do those as bonuses. I have them both.
Yeah. And then year 2 was a good year. Borderland, Crazy Eights, Death of Ian Stone, Lake Dead, Mulberry Street, Nightmare Man, Tooth and Nail, Unearthed, and Frontiers. Yeah,
there's some fucking heavy hitters in there. That Ian Stone movie is really good too, man. It's kind of the underrated one. Obviously, Frontiers is probably the stick out one there, but Mulberry Street and Nightmare Man, I always enjoyed those.
Right. Yeah. And then there was that weird 5th year from 2015 that never actually got like released well.
It was stupid. Was that the one with like Lumberjack Man?
Yeah.
Right.
But I would love to do at least the first one, start with that. And I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then I also would like to do, I think that doing like a folk horror and just like randomizing things from those 2 Severin box sets.
I was thinking a cool thing we could do.
Why don't we, instead of randomizing, why don't we just each pick one for each
That's
episode?
what I was gonna say. Yeah.
That's fine too.
We could all pick one from like one of the box sets.
Yeah.
Just hopefully there's like, I can't remember how many movies are in each set, but like hopefully it works out.
There's 24 in the second one. Tell you that.
Yeah. There's like 20 something in the first one too. I think there's a little bit more in the second one.
So that works out then, because that's like 8 shows.
Yeah. We could just, and by the time, who knows, they might even release more of those damn things.
Yeah.
They probably will.
I've been going through that second set. There's a lot. I've already found some good films.
Yeah, I think that would be a fun little two shows that I have.
I want to do Tales from the Crypt season 3.
Yes, I also agree that it's time to get back to that.
Yeah, like we haven't done any of the zoologies in a while, but like there's, oh my God, there's
Yeah, we'll definitely. I mean, we did a couple this season. I mean, is like we did the crocodile one this season, and I think one other one, right? So I mean, we're fine.
Yeah, we definitely did something else.
I mean,
like
we did
7
what,
of them.
like 7 volumes in 2 years or something. So
Yeah.
we've done a lot of those so far. But what other shows? Anything in particular that you want to make sure we get to next season?
Ingmar Bergman's Spotlight.
I mean, if that's what you want to do, if that's what you want as your pick, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm fine.
That'd
I'm
be
fine
an
with that.
interesting one.
I'm fine with that.
I like Bergman. The stuff. So I haven't seen a lot, but I mean, I've seen a couple and I've liked them.
I think
so
you would
I'm down.
you probably do Virgin Spring, Hour
Which
of
I
the-
like that movie a lot. I like that movie a lot as well. So those are two that I like.
It probably Seventh Seal.
I mean,
I think
fuck,
I've
dude.
seen
I mean,
that as
or-
well.
we really got to update the Hall of Fame and Hall of Pain
Yeah,
before we start doing shows like that.
I will work on that this summer.
Because
When we're off.
I don't
Yeah,
think
but
I could justify Persona over any of those as much as I'd like to.
I feel like there's a lot of films that aren't in the Hall of Fame right now. Even we just had a recent Hall of Painter too. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, if we start doing Bergman shows, holy shit, I can't imagine those not getting high rate. Like, I mean, come on, man. Seven Seal is so fucking good.
Yeah. So yeah, there's the anything else you can think of that you really want to make sure we get to?
I mean, I like doing the franchise shows. I mean, I would like to do the Toxic Avenger. I almost said Offender. I will say it every single time. The Toxic Avenger.
Yeah, I think
once
that's
the new one
plan.
comes out. So that'll be next season. So we'll do that franchise. I would like to do, like even doing the prom, like just kind of keep knocking off the ones that we haven't done. I mean, we've done.
Yeah, I think we wait
so
on that
many.
box set at this point for prom night.
Yeah. Well, it's not going to be a box set.
Well, it might be a box set.
Yeah, who knows? I didn't hear anything about part 4, but whatever. Part 4 is part 4. I mean, it's excessive.
No, they said part 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Was
They
it 2,
just
3,
don't
and
have
4?
Part 1, yeah.
Yeah, but part 1
one's
is
already been done by Synapse. So
yeah, which is kind of funny that since they're distributing, they couldn't work out a deal to put the box set together like Screen.
that's why I'm saying I don't know if it won't be at this point. Like that could end up happening.
They don't need to put the remake in there because we just yeah. But yeah, that's one I would like to do, like the prom night one. I think there was a couple other ones. Man, we've done so many franchises. Like it's getting hard to actually, because we do the Hills Have Eyes this summer. Holy fuck, dude! There's not that many more, like big ones. Just comes down to Friday and Nightmare.
Psycho.
Oh yeah, that was the other one. I knew there was one sitting there I couldn't think of.
Yeah, Psycho. I don't like when you like Friday, Elm are the two big ones we haven't done, but also Psycho would be like the next biggest one we haven't done.
Yeah, but I think one thing that we need to start focusing on a little bit. Well, obviously, when the new Scream film comes out, we'll just do that trilogy. But the new trilogy.
Yeah, we
but
could do some roundup.
We got to do roundup, man. There's so many fucking movies, dude. It's crazy. Like even with a new Final Destination coming out, that's another one, right? It's just adding to it. So, yeah.
Yep.
Just how many movies do you think it would take to like prep one of those shows we like talked about, like top 10 vampires or like top 10 like haunted house or something?
Well, I think that. I think like when it depends what you pick. Like if you do like werewolves or something, I don't think there's as many as like vampires.
Yeah,
Vampires you would have to kind of regulate it though. Like do you add in like the Universal and the Hammer films, or do you do modern vampires? Because I remember doing a couple of different lists where I did like I excluded some things and I did like old school vampire films, and then I did a modern list too, like 2000 plus, because there's like a lot of modern vampire films that are really good. But it's a really hard top 10 list to make because
I think like the
a
two
lot.
hardest ones in subgenres is like zombies and vampires because there's just so many of them.
There's so many zombies.
Even
Yeah,
with zombies,
seems it could
like
be-
do a modern list of that too.
We could do. I think maybe something easier would be like anthologies.
Yeah, I just thought because like we did a lot of top tens this season, so it's
Yeah.
I guess we can handle putting in a couple, like bigger shows. So maybe
Mhm.
like since we're not going to do all those this year, we like probably like maybe like sneak in something like that, like a mini
Do you
top
want
10.
to do you want to do a Christmas one again?
We did Christmas one again.
I think we could. I think it would be cool to do another Christmas top 10. I definitely didn't get to all the stuff that I love.
Like the next top 10. So like it'll be the show of like 11 to 20.
Yeah.
Well, now I have Kiss Up Mana to put on my list.
Yeah. We could either call it like 10 more
Oh my God.
Christmas movies or we could call it top 11 through 20.
Yeah. Just call it volume 2.
Yeah. Top 10 Christmas horror films, volume 2. Yeah. I like that.
I think if we started with like a random top 10, like I like the werewolf idea because like I think the prep on that is it's not as complicated.
It's not as complicated as vampires. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, vampires literally every year there's like 10 vampire movies that come out.
Yeah.
Like werewolves aren't nearly as done.
Fuck man.
Of course there's eras of a lot of werewolf movies, and there's actually like a lot of like good werewolf movies that came out in the last like 20 years,
Mhm.
but the amount is so much smaller than vampires.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could do like a werewolf top 10 werewolf or something, somewhere along there. But yeah, I think like next year's top 10 list off the top of my head, I don't think we're doing. We should also discuss what we're doing for Italian Horror Month this year as well.
Yeah, because we took such a left turn last year that do we go
Yeah.
back to doing director spot or do we just continue
Yeah,
for
well,
another
'cause
year?
one
I
thing
think
that
you
actually-
I think you definitely do some director spotlights here and there. Like I probably want to do another Fulci one because here's why I want to do Fulci.
Yeah.
I think like how Argento ended up where we had covered everything he'd done and then did a ranking at the end. I think that should also happen
Fulci
for
could be the
Fulci.
next one. I
Oh,
agree
yeah.
with that. Actually,
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Fulci becomes a new annual.
But we need to do it's gonna be a bunch of years because like there's a lot of films that we haven't covered.
Yeah. I mean, we could do like
See, the thing is with
Two.
Fulci, he's got I want to say that would
what have we
fall into
done?
actually
3
being
volumes
horror.
of Fulci?
Like it's high 20s. Like I want to say 27, 28 actual legit horror films. That's including Giallo's in there. Yeah, he's got a couple comedies and stuff which I wouldn't even bother with,
Couple westerns.
and westerns and stuff. So yeah, maybe it's probably it's over 25 at least genre films. So I mean horror films.
Let's take a look.
But yeah, he's got the 3 westerns. He's got a couple comedies. And I'm talking like modern Fulci. Like we're talking from like 69, 68, 69 till, well, it would be 92. I think his last one was. Or 94.
He has
94.
23 marked as horror on Letterboxd.
Okay, so there's 23, so that's close. There might be a couple others in there that
Yeah,
Or labeled as horror?
I've never seen it, but one I know is not here is Perversion Story. I don't know if you would count that.
yeah, I mean, it's still genre. I like that's a
that's
good
one
movie. That's a good movie too.
Have we?
Yeah, I have
done
the
3
Mondo,
volumes?
so I just know that one's not on here.
Yeah,
I've
it's
seen
definitely
2.
worth a watch. I think you'd really like that one actually.
Yeah, I've seen 2 of his
Nobody's answered me.
westerns.
It's before Fulci was kind of what most people know Fulci as, right? So
Yeah,
So, how many have we done? 3 or 4 volumes of Fulci?
I think you've done.
I know we've
you
done
did-
we've done
You
2
did the
for
Gates
sure.
of Hell trilogy. You did you did Zombie and what would you? I don't remember. I wasn't here yet.
I can't remember which ones we actually covered because we've talked about.
Maybe you only did 2.
Yeah, I think
No, we did. We definitely covered Duckling in there at some point.
Yeah, you must. I'm assuming you did Duckling, Lizard and Worm Skin, and the Psychic together. That would be my assumption.
yeah,
Yeah, weren't you on that show?
yeah.
No, I just had them. I just picked.
Yeah,
them
no, that
all,
was definitely a show that we did for sure.
Yeah,
And
I
then there
just
was the
picked them all
Gates.
my top 10 Italian horror movies.
So when did we do Zombie? We had to have done 3. Because Zombie.
So the first one we did was Gates of Hell, and then we did Zombie, New York Ripper, and Cat in the Brain.
Right,
Okay, there
right,
you
right.
go. And then
Right.
you did the others. So yeah, you did 3 volumes. Then you did like the 3 that I really like.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, the earlier Fulci stuff, like the Giallo stuff.
Yeah, because it's funny. All 3 of those movies that on that show, I mean, I would have loved to have been on that show. All 3 of those movies made my top 10 Italian list. I've never seen Cat in the Brain, so that's one. Yeah. Yeah, there would be 8 more I haven't seen, according to this.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good start. I mean, if there's 25, I mean, there's still quite a few we'd have to get through before we do that ranking list of horror films, because
minimum 5 volumes. 5 more volumes, I should say.
fuck, that's a lot. We're gonna end up doing top 10 of top 10 or Fulci ranking in 2031. So we'll call it then.
we could do multiple volumes a year.
True.
If we wanted to speed it up, we could do all Fulci next year.
You know, we could do, all right, because here's the thing, and this is like, wow, Conquest is.
Yeah, so the last time we did Fulci was volume 3 2 years ago.
Since we're kind of like, I don't know, maybe like now, you could, since we're like kind of away from the premium Fulcis, you can maybe put like, you can do like 5 at a time.
I like keeping it to 3, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it takes less time to make the thumbnail for him.
Right. Yeah. This thumbnail is just perfectly designed.
We also did watch Zombie 3 already, so we want to have to do that again.
No, we wouldn't have to do that again.
So that knocks another one off.
Yeah, so like if we were gonna do like let's just say next year for some reason, what would if we picked 3 Fulci films, what would they be? I think we just go in order.
Yeah, so let me organize this by earliest first.
Yeah, I guess
so. It looks like what the hell is this movie?
You guys are getting a behind the scenes how we come up with shows.
some title. What is this movie? It's a titles and night from all in Italian. 75 Ilkov Constantine Nicosia Demonica.
We'll try
Dracula and Brianza.
Oh yeah. No, that movie's fucking goofy. It's like it's a comedy, like horror film. It's
it's marked horror. So like I organized it by earliest first to see what the next 3 would be, and that popped up. So I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it's not, honestly, dude, it doesn't really have any type of release. It's really weird. It's kind of a super obscure Fulci film from, he was making bigger. It's weird. It's from an era where you think it wouldn't be, but.
All right. So chronologically, the next 3 would be The Black Cat, Manhattan Baby, and Conquest. But I don't know, I'm not sure that would really call Conquest a horror movie either.
Well, we do exploitation and stuff,
it's
especially
like a sci-fi. It's like a
sci-fi
sci-fi movie. It's something different.
I think if I sort it from, so we would probably skip that weird one for now because Moodz said it doesn't have a release.
Yeah.
So it would probably be The Black Cat, Manhattan Baby, and Conquest would be the next 3.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of crazy, man. Like it's the alternate title for Conspiracy of Torture, which is, what is the fucking title called?
Or if you want to,
Beatrice Sensi.
Honestly, we don't really have that many more volumes left. Look, we have Black Cat
There's also
Manhattan
though,
Baby
if
and
we were
Conquest. And then
if
we would
were
have
gonna
Murder
do
Rock,
that perversion
Enigma.
story movie, that perversion story movie, that's 69.
Yeah.
There's like 3 or 4 more volumes here.
Yeah, the Beatrice Sensei film from 69, aka The Conspiracy of Torture. That movie's fucking phenomenal. Tyler, you'd really like that movie. That's your type of movie. It's like a really good movie.
69. What is this one?
Yeah,
Not listed as horror?
I don't think it is actually.
It isn't The Conspiracy of Torture. It's not listed as horror.
I have the 88 Blu-ray because it was released over there, and it's under the title Beatrice Sensei. So
yeah.
I've always known it as The Conspiracy.
This is like a period piece.
Yeah, it's really good. It's like really kind of early contemporary.
Yeah, we could probably throw that one on there.
But like films like Contraband obviously are just a crime film. We're not putting that in there. Like For the Apocalypse has Fulci kind of gore in it and stuff, but I wouldn't say. I've never seen the White Fang films actually. White Fang and Challenge of White Fang. Never seen those two.
Yeah, the White Fang movies.
But yeah, we get down with the 80, like the Sweet House of Horrors, House of Clock. I wish Sodom's Ghost had a better release, man. It just looks like shit. Fuck.
Oh yeah, I've seen For the Apocalypse.
I know the last volume would be Demonia, Voices from Beyond, and Door to Silence.
Yeah, Voices from Beyond was one of those like ridiculous films that was like remember it was 92 and then it went to 91 when we were on 91.
That was Door to Silence.
Well, that one too, but Voices from Beyond actually changed too, I think, didn't it? Or didn't we watch it and then like the date changed or something? I don't know. Fucking stupid.
It says 91 on Letterboxd.
Yeah, Door to Silence says 91 because it was 92 before, right? 2 of them have changed.
Voices from Beyond 91 also.
I mean,
I think Door into Silence went clear to like 94 once or something.
I mean, there is a show in the early stuff, like we do Black Cat, Manhattan Baby. And then what's like the next horror? Because we already done the early ones. So that would be Conquest doesn't really count. It's
Black Cat.
It's Sword and Sandals.
Conquest.
Be like Murder Rock.
Conquest.
Or
would you put Conquest in there? Because it's like Sword and
Sandals.
Sandals.
What I was questioning. It's more.
Yeah,
it's more
I think
like
Conquest is a fine genre film to cover.
Sure. I mean, I personally really like it. I think and I think Fulci's Black Cat is crazy underrated.
Yeah, so we have Black Cat. We got there's a few shows there we could do. So we'll get back to some Fulci probably. But we should probably hammer out what we're actually going to do for Italian Horror Month soon, just so we have time.
Yeah,
to pick things up and stuff.
Yeah, I figure out what we're gonna do for. Yeah, are we gonna do another list or director spotlight? I mean, we have covered a lot of different directors.
Oh yeah,
and those really obscure ones don't do well. Like, they don't do well. People don't even want to click on like, who the fuck is Pulseni? I don't want to click on that shit.
They do well over time.
Well, one thing we noticed when we were doing the top 10 is like I came across a couple movies that I was surprised you hadn't done it because like the director only did like 1 or 2 movies.
Yeah, exactly. There's a bunch of those films, and that actually would be a fun film to do. Actually, JP,
what?
Maybe do like? Is there a bunch of one-off Italian directors that directed like one horror film that we could just put a show together? Like it's the one-off show.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could also do it like just giallos. Like if we picked like let's say there's a guy that did a giallo that he only really did one film, but we wanted to cover it. Or we could do if there's any other themes with them, we could theme out some shows and pick 3 films. Kind of how we did with didn't we just with the crocodile show where we just found a theme for that wouldn't have worked for director spotlights for I think the one guy. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of guys out there who just did like 1 or 2 that we could make shows out of.
Man, there was so many that we found that only had 2, and we're like, and those movies are so good. Like, how are we gonna incorporate this? So
this guy is probably one of those.
I can't.
Moralga. But the Red Queen kills 7 times, and the night Evelyn came out of the grave.
Yeah. I think that's
Those
actually
are
one.
both Giallos, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we
So we could technically do a third Giallo and just call it Giallo Volume 1. And that would cover that guy's 2 films because we would never get a chance to otherwise. And then we could just add a third
well,
film
they're not
there.
like full on giallos though. They're kind of like gothic. Like
I feel like those are, I've watched those before.
the
I would
Red
say
Queen
Red
kills
Queen
7
is
times is
definitely-
definitely a giallo, but the
I would say
Evelyn
that
comes out-
one is.
the grave
Yeah, that
is
one's more of a gothic movie.
yeah.
Okay,
it's-
so we just take the Red Queen and then 2 other Giallos from other directors, make a shot of that, and then we compare the other film, Evelyn or whatever, with some other shit.
the night Evelyn came out of the grave.
In the folds of flesh.
Yeah, like I remember how many times that we were trying to put these shows together, and I'm like, oh, I'd love to do this director, but what the fuck? They got 2. Oh, this one only got 1. In the Folds of Flesh, who's actually the director on that?
This guy's another one.
Yeah, 'cause that movie
Sergio Bergonzelli.
Okay.
He did In the Folds of Flesh, and he did Blood Delirium.
Oh, dude, he was the guy that did Blood. Oh, that's fucking awesome, dude. So it's
Yeah.
probably another guy I looked into. I'm like, oh, he's
I mean,
only
he's got
2
other
movies.
horror movies, though. No, he's got other horror movies, though. Look like he's got a nun-exploitation movie, it looks like.
Yeah, well, I mean, most
Ooh,
directors, and it this,
Non-exploitation, that would be
It's
kind of
just
a
drama,
fun
though,
show.
but it looks like there's a fucking woman tied up with a nun. So
we need to do more like Bruno Mattei, because there's definitely
can.
other volumes of Bruno Mattei we can do, man. Like, there's tons.
Yeah, we can. Yeah,
Might be
Let's,
time, might be a year to maybe do like do another Fulci, Bruno Mattei. Like, these are recognizable names. Maybe put together a Giallo show.
yeah. Maybe
Something.
we do like Bruno Mattei, a Fulci, standard like Giallo Volume 1, and then something else in there.
Yeah,
Be cool.
say like a random horror volume 1, like just directors that did like 1 film or something like that. Because like that's the beauty of like of Italian directors, is that they were all journeymen, right? They worked in every genre, because that's just the way the film industry worked then. If you wanted to do films, you had to do a Western, you had to do a crime film, you had to do a Western, you had to do a horror film, you had to do a comedy. Like there's guys out there that like literally did every genre. It's crazy, but it was normal. So if you sift through it, man, we could definitely pull out some. There's some gems.
Yeah, so definitely start thinking about what you guys want to do, and we'll start putting the shows together.
I'm excited for
do some
Italian horror month now.
research.
Fuck
Yeah,
yeah.
I know, right? I'm always excited for Italian horror month. It's what, like, honestly, like the return, the first 3 months of return are always just a blast, because it's just, we're so busy, have so much like stuff planned.
Well, it starts out with a bang, because we always have the big top 10 show to start, and then it's just like
Yeah.
show, and then it's like
it's like a party to start the season.
and then October.
Carly actually might do 92 with us now.
Oh man, she's got
92's a
lots of
good
time to
movie.
prep. She's got, I mean,
Yeah.
fucking Dave said he hasn't even really started, and she's like, well, I haven't even prepped yet. I'm like, well, Dave's in the same boat as you.
Yeah.
It's
It's probably
a
only gonna
thing,
watch
so-
probably around like 40 movies, though, right?
Whatever.
Yeah,
It is what it
yeah,
is.
that's fine.
It's fine.
I never care. The guests could literally show up and have not watched any, and just have their 10 that they love, and I'm fine with that. Like, the
Yeah,
guests
exactly.
I don't need the guests to prep like we do. You know, we
Yeah.
already got that covered. So if they want to just show up with a list, I'm fine with that. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
Except for
But I-
Tony. He has to watch as much as us. Because I said.
But he will, but he just will, though. He just will.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so we get that's some stuff. Oh, I wanted to say, since if we're off of upcoming shows, so I did want to briefly talk about the other movie that I saw with Sinners. So I went and seen three movies last weekend, which was pretty cool. I love doing the rare 3 film marathon days. Jeremy does 4 sometimes, and like 4 is a bit much for me, especially because I use like the AMC A-list thing, which you get 3, but apparently that's changing to 4. You get 4 films a week now in mid-May, so that's kind of cool. I could do the rare 4 if I wanted, but the me and Carly every once in a while we kind of we started off strong. I told you guys that I wanted to hit 45 this year, 46 to break my record. I think I'm still on pace to be able to do that. But I did take a bit of a break and miss some stuff that came out, like Unicorn, and there was another movie that came out that I missed. But I ended up catching Woman in the Yard sort of as it phases out here. I didn't think it was as bad as like a lot of people were saying, but it was definitely like a super averagey movie. It had some cool ideas, but it kind of comes off as like an anti-suicide thing, which I like. But I gave it like a 5.5 out of 10. So even for me, for being a little bit more favorable on the more standardized movies, it was kind of weak for me.
I gave her a 3.
Yeah, I don't think I mean, a 3 to
I
me is
hated it.
something that is torture. So it wasn't quite torture for me. And then I went and seen a movie that nobody's like talking about. Like, I don't know why. But it is called The Ugly Stepsister. And
Yeah.
it is a Norwegian film.
Yeah,
You
I've
didn't
heard
see
good
it?
things about it. I think it has a limited release. It's not playing anywhere near me.
It's weird that I would get it though, and I would think that like we don't really get like the super limited stuff, so I'm just surprised that it's in my theater and not other people's.
Yeah.
But so that movie was really cool. Watching it, I was like, okay, this is like my favorite movie of the year so far.
Yeah, because it's been out a week and it still only has like 9,000 people have marked it seen on Letterboxd, so it definitely didn't get a big release.
Yeah, so some things that happen in that movie. So it's sort of like a body horror Cinderella film. Like it follows the Cinderella story pretty much. And apparently I've never read like the real Cinderella like grim fairy tale story. Oh, that was actually the other show that I want to do next year is like a dark fairy tale uh volume.
Well, I think I'd mentioned I want to do some Pooniverse shit too.
Yeah, we could do that as well.
I'm actually, I think it's kind of stupid fun, but whatever.
Yeah, there's a few like films that are based on fairy tales that you could do a volume for, like this film, The Ugly Stepsister. You could do like that Snow White movie that came out back in the 90s. There's Pinocchio's Revenge. There's a few fairy.
Oh, the Kevin Tenney classic.
Yeah. But The Ugly Stepsister, it's basically a Cinderella tale, but I would say it's like body horror. But you know right away that it's like, okay, this is Norwegian, because the stuff in there that like you see multiple cocks in the movie.
Like actual penis, like penises,
like actual penises. So like, I think you even see, I missed it because I went to the bathroom, but Carly said somebody's jismed on something. So
what?
There's that.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's random. That's crazy.
So, it's a really, so from what I understand, it follows the grim fairy tale a little bit more than any probably adaptations recently has done, but it's set in like the olden time, I don't know, like 16 something or some shit, you know.
Right.
And it's basically this woman marries this guy for basically money, but the guy dies and he didn't actually have any money, so they got fucked. And she has 2 daughters, and there's a prince in the town that's looking for a virgin, a fair virgin to marry. So there's going to be this big ball where he's going to pick his future wife, you know, because how they did it back in the day. So the mom is like, one of my daughters has to basically marry this guy, and there's also a stepdaughter too, from the husband that she married that basically died. And so she is like positioning her daughter to be like the one that wins over the prince, but she's kind of ugly. So that's a problem. So she starts having like her do all this like plastic surgery and stuff, but it's like fucking very crude because there was no like plastic surgery back then. You know, it was like literally like chiseling someone's nose and breaking their nose, like all painful and shit. So she starts going through these like transformations to like get prettier and stuff. And it's kind of a fucked up movie a bit, but it was really good. I really enjoyed it. It's gross at times. I obviously won't go too into it to spoil anything, but you know, it's Cinderella, so most people know the story or the gist of it. But it is good. It's pretty good. Like I think people are gonna. I would be surprised if it's not on top 10 list at the end of the year. So yeah, I doubt many people will get a chance to see it in the theater, but if it is at your theater, definitely go see it. If not, wait till it hits streaming. It's a pretty enjoyable movie. Definitely a contender.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in that. That sounds pretty cool. But yeah, I won't be seeing that in the cinema because there's no fucking way I'm getting that. Absolutely no way.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, man. I do what I can up here. So.
Yeah, and honestly, the poster was kind of not the greatest too, so I didn't really know what to expect. But I think whenever you see a movie like that and then you find out that it's like foreign with subtitles, you will instantly be like, okay, it's probably going to be like at least interesting if it made it over here and it's foreign. You know, it's not going to be your typical American shit for the most part. You could usually bet that. But yeah, I have another thing to talk about. So obviously I went to that drive-in last night. You guys know that. The April Ghouls marathon. So the first night was Nightmare on Elm Street 1 through 4, and then the second night was some Patty Mullins stuff. You had Frankenhooker, Doom Asylum, Brain Damage, and Basket Case 2. We stayed for all 4 of the Elm Streets. I actually did fall asleep in part 4. I was extremely tired. I woke up at like 5 a.m. that day, went to work, and then went to the drive-in. Yeah, I know. It's tough. Well, for one, it pissed rain the entire night. So it was a rough go because
that sucks, man, because you got to watch the shit like with your windshield wipers on and stuff like
or off, because most people don't want to leave their car running for 8 hours of movies or something.
Yeah, you can kill your battery.
Yeah, like you have to watch with you have to time it right and stuff. They do have things to recharge your battery and stuff, but the worst is getting your battery dead. That's happened to us a couple times.
Yeah.
So we mainly watched it like with the windshield wipers off. So it was just like watching a pixelated movie at that point, but we did turn them on from time to time. And what is good is when it starts raining like really heavy and the whole windshield gets covered, because then it's just like a stream of water coming down instead of like the dots. When it's the dots, it's really hard to see, but if it just is raining so hard that it's like a stream of water, it's not that bad. But the fog, like you're constant, anybody who's like went to these drive-in events, you're constantly battling if the weather's not good. Like ideally you would like to just sit outside the car in some chairs and watch the movies like that. But we've had some rough goes at some of these events.
How is the audio at those things? Is it like the old school where you got to put like the fucking speakers on your shit, or you just do it through your
so they sell portable radios that you can rent out. But we just have like a little one that we turn on, and you could use your car radio as well.
So I think what I would do, like at that, like with my truck, I would back it in so it's facing the screen, right? Have chairs in there and just roll down my back, because I have one of those one-piece windows.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. Some people bring straight up like tents, like not tents, but like canopies with like fucking space heaters inside them and shit.
Yeah, for sure.
So the first night was a bit rough. It was really awesome to see Elm Street 3 on the big screen. That was like the one that I've always wanted to see. So that was pretty awesome.
Were you frustrated though, because it wasn't like clear and it was a battle with the rain and stuff like that? I would be a little bit disappointed. I'm like, come on, man.
Honestly, like Elm Street 3, it slowed down a bit, so it actually worked out. Like it was a little bit frustrating, but at the same time, it was still pretty cool. And also all 4 of those were 35 millimeters, and they haven't been, this particular theater.
I was just going to ask that if they were digital or 35s. That's fucking awesome, dude. 35 prints. Damn.
Yeah. So this particular drive-in used to only do the 35s for this event, but over the years they've started doing like the 4K transfers and stuff. So I was actually really surprised that they had the 35s for this, because they haven't in a few years. So all the which I had seen part 1 and 2, I think, on 35 before. No, just part 1. Part 1, the 35 is actually one of my favorite 35s that I've seen. it's like very scratchy, but it's really cool. I like the way that it looks. Part 3 was 35, part 4 was 35. Both of those looked really good. Then the second night, we watched Frankenhooker, which we've seen that in the theater before. And that one was digital. It was probably whatever the last Blu-ray release was of that, Synapse probably. And then Brain Damage was the Arrow transfer, I believe, which looked really good. Doom Asylum, I think, was also the Arrow.
Yeah.
And then we left right at Basket Case. Wanted to get home a little, or Basket Case 2. Not the hugest fan of those two later Basket Cases anyway. And I just wanted to get home a little earlier that night, so I had time to watch.
It's a little less jarring if you watch Basket Case 1, 2, and 3 in a row. It's super jarring to go from 1 to 2, but I think if you watch like 2 and 3, like if you just skip it,
sure.
It's probably a better double feature, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same
Brain
kind of
Damage
tone.
is amazing though. Like that was another great one to finally see on
Elmer.
Yeah, Carly loves Brain Damage as well. So
It's super good.
Overall, it was really dope night. But this is the funniest thing. This is why I brought this up. So we get there, we get there a few hours early just to get a good spot and also like eat food. And they have vendors there and stuff. The vendors are really overpriced in my opinion. Like I think it was like Blu-rays were like $40, but Severin had been there the last 2 years and theirs were fairly priced. But they weren't here this year, which was surprising.
Is there like food trucks there, or is it just like the
concession?
The concession. It's just a concession. Okay.
I've been to a few drive-ins, and I think this place has the best concession out of any of the ones I've been to. They do like special things too, like for the event. Like they did like some chili when they showed Chainsaw 2. They did tacos last year. Were they just for you? Because you told them you were showing up. Yeah, and this year they did French fries and gravy and roast beef sandwiches. All you got to do is put the cheese curds on there, and then you got poutine. I know. That's what I said. I was like, dude, you guys were so close to making poutine. Like, total fail. I know, but I actually didn't like the gravy that much on these. But they've done like Nashville chicken strip baskets and stuff, and their food is always like pretty solid. I'm a sucker for cheese fries. I get cheese fries every single time. It's like my favorite thing. But yeah, the food's always good. And the event's really cool, but we go in there, we get some food, we're hanging out. Literally Elm Street starts, bro. It's literally 10 minutes into Elm Street and the first person leaves. And I'm just like, bro, like what the fuck was the point of even coming?
Wait, they left 10 minutes into the first movie when you have
the first movie, bro.
You still have another 16 hours of movie. Like what the fuck? What?
I know, dude. And then like, cause a lot of times when we get, cause there's probably just some local people that live around there that just come for like a movie or something as well. And don't like come for the event. So a lot of times after the first movie, like a lot of people will leave. Like I would say like 10 cars or something would leave, but I've never seen somebody leave in the first 10 minutes of the first movie. I'm like, dude, what? And after every movie,
they must have went there for the food. Like, is there an entry? There's obviously like you can't get past.
Yeah, you have to pay for the whole event.
So why would you go in there and leave after 10 minutes? Unless
the first night of the event, you have to pay. If you go to the first,
it had to be something, you'd think.
But it is pretty fairly priced. I think it's only $20 per person for the 4 movies, which is
that's really fair.
So $20 a night then?
Yeah, so it's like $40 for.
It's pretty fucking good, dude. Like $20 for 4 movies, man. It's $5 a film.
$5 a movie. Yeah,
it's awesome. It's amazing. It's way cheaper than going to the. I mean, for me to go see to go to the cinema on a regular night is about 13 and a half, I think, maybe $13.
Mm-hmm.
if I go on
That's
Tuesday,
actually not that much.
if I go
surprisingly.
I
thought
go
it would
on
be more for you.
Tuesday, I think it's like 9. But see, it used to be like Tuesdays used to be half price. So
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
$6 for members on
yeah,
Tuesdays.
they're not half
Gross.
price anymore.
See, that's why I just love the A-list, because it just costs me nothing to go to. I mean, I pay the $22 a month or whatever, but like I can go see 3 movies and the tickets are $0. Like it's pretty cool.
But like 3D movies here though, like so a regular 2D film, like I said, is like 13 on a regular night. The fucking 3Ds, bro, are like, man, 18 or some crazy shit.
Do you have Dolby or IMAX?
Do you guys have D-box seats?
No,
I
dude,
think there's one in Ohio that has them.
So
that's
mine
like an
has
hour away.
D-box seats, and it's like $26.
Holy shit.
my theater's really old school. Like it's been around for fucking 30 years. Like the one that's left has been around here for like 30 years. Honestly, man, they haven't upgraded much. Like everything's just kind of like old school, you know, kind of system sound and shit like that. It's not, I mean, it could be, there's no IMAX. It could be Dolby. I have no idea. The sound sucks.
To me, like you would know if you're in a Dolby because it's bigger. It's crazier than IMAX. Like IMAX is just mainly about the like screen and like some of the sound, but every Dolby that I've been to is like a giant ass screen, and it has like the recliner chairs, and then it has like crazy sound. Like that's sort of what they, you know, it like rumbles your. Like when you're watching Dolby, it like rumbles your chair. It's so loud.
No, it's not like that at all. Like this is like old school, kind of like probably like the 5, whatever the mix is for the film, you know, kind of thing, right?
So the Dolby theater, we only have like there's usually only one per theater, but it's basically a lot. Like it costs more. Like if I see a movie in Dolby, it would like if a regular ticket's like $12, the Dolby one would be like 16.
That's interesting. Wow.
Yeah. So it's like another way. It's like a premium version of the movie. And usually it's the biggest movie that's in the Dolby. So like I did get to catch Sinners in Dolby, which the A-list thing for AMC that you're allowed to watch the premium stuff too for no price.
Yeah, they call it XD at Cinemark. But yeah, we have that too. Same thing. It's like it's a little upcharge from the regular.
Yeah, my cinema's so old. It's just like it's literally playing whatever the mix is for the film. It's like your general old school kind of fucking system kind of thing. And it's like it's not even really like it's still stadium seating, but like the seats are all small. It's not like you go to like the bigger famous players and stuff where it's all stadium seating with the recliners and shit like that, where you don't have to worry about someone sitting in front of you. You got the room, you got the fucking tables. Like you could have a steak dinner.
Yeah, we have ours are nice. Ours are like I have the recliner ones.
Oh, dude, I sit in seats like they're horrible. It's like sitting in like those old school computer seats and shit.
We sit in like lounge chairs on mine. But yeah, that was the XD is where the D box seats are. But I don't go see every movie in XD because I don't want to pay the upcharge like in all of them. But like I didn't go see Unicorn in XD.
I will always go to Dolby if there's something that I want to see that's in it, because I think it's the best way to see the movies that I have around me.
Yeah, for sure. Especially like watching movies, like say an action film in Dolby, that would be fucking sick. Right?
Yeah, like John Wick is always good in Dolby.
Yeah, I saw John Wick like opening night in one of those. That was a good time.
Yeah, that would be fucking outrageous.
Yeah.
But like some slow burn like folklore film, and it's like what?
Speaking of Sinners, like Sinners apparently was shot in 70 millimeter. Yeah. And it was there's only I think 11 theaters in the nation that support it. So and none of them are near me. Yeah. It's like like there's a couple in LA, and
so most are just probably projected in probably digital, really. Right. Yeah,
I think that it's digital, but it would have been cool to see that shit in 70 millimeter. I know Jeremy has went and seen 70 millimeter prints of things, but I definitely don't have anything.
I bet you Tarantino owns 2 copies of Sinners on 70 millimeter already.
Yeah, there was a few. There was a few years ago. There was a movie that came out that was made for 70 millimeter.
Didn't Tarantino actually do one in 70 millimeter?
Yeah, it might have been his.
He did The Hateful Eight.
Yeah, that was in 70. Right. Yeah.
But
yeah, that's like, yeah, that's one thing I hate about this town is that I have one theater. I don't have the options. I don't have a good one. I mean,
is it at least close to you?
It's literally like it's a 5-minute drive for me.
Okay, because I don't have a theater within 40 minutes.
Okay,
so.
yeah, no, I'm super close. Like, I mean, I always leave early because I like to be there like a half an hour before. I'm just weird. I'm weird. I got to get my seats and just sit there. I'll sit there and just watch a blank screen.
Yeah. If I was there 40 minutes though, I wouldn't be fucking recreationally going and seeing shit like The Wolfman.
No, I passed on that. Actually, that's the one film this year I actually did pass on because everyone's like, no. And I already knew
that's one of the reasons we try to see multiple movies at a time, so we don't like, so it's like worth it, the drive. Even
that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah, completely.
Yeah, like I see all these movies that hit the theater just because my theater is like 15 minutes away, and it's a nice theater with
I had a really shitty theater that was 15 minutes away, and it shut down during COVID, which sucked. And even there used to be one 5 minutes from my work, and that shut down during COVID and never reopened. So it really sucks. Where every
fucking brutal, man.
Years it seems like they're just dying out, and there's no new ones being built. So that's what kind of sucks.
Yeah,
yeah, because people they just don't see the bigger picture, man. There's still a market for it. But I mean, every day, I actually just saw an interview the other day about, I can't remember who the fuck was being interviewed. And they were talking about how Netflix is the future of film. That's what it is. It's just, that's the future. And I'm like, no, because there's nothing that beats. I mean, it might be for the new generation because they've grown up in this digital world and seeing movies at home. Like I've talked about it before, like even with my kid, he sees a commercial come on. If he's watching network television, he sees a commercial come on and he's like, losing his shit because he has to sit through a 30-second spot. Like, fuck, dude. Like, this is back in the day, dude. Remember when you missed what was on the channels? You had to watch the ticker go by for fucking 5 minutes. You're like, oh, that's what's on channel 12, kind of thing. Like, I mean, we had to watch commercials. That was part of life. But yeah, I think that I just don't think that this generation even really gives a shit about that. It's more for us, I think. I mean, to be honest, though, like I was actually at the cinema the other day and I was surprised at the crowd. There was a lot of younger people there watching films. And I'm like, you know what, man, I think people have it twisted, man. I don't think that it's completely lost on society.
Yeah, like I feel like
definitely is,
going
especially
to the
when there's
as a kid is never not awesome.
Yeah.
Especially when there's like a big movie coming out, like people still get like, even like casual, like teens and stuff still go to the movies. You know what I mean?
I get it though. A lot of the people that they're at the cinema, like I'll see some of the kids and stuff like that. They're there for a social aspect of it too. It's like, oh, somebody said, oh, this movie looks kind of cool. We'll go see that. They really don't have a lot of interest in the movie per se, but they're there on a social aspect, kind of thing or whatever. I mean, I'm still fine with that as long as they're quiet in the theater, but I don't really give a fuck. But it's so cool to see young heads at these movies. And like even walking out of Sinners, I even heard a couple of people and I'm like, okay, yeah, me and the wife walking out. I always listen to people. Like I'm one of those people that walks out and I always listen to people like what they're saying and shit like that. And, this one young girl's like, that was really good. And I'm like, that's awesome. That's awesome. Like she's probably 14, it's like,
yeah, my theater for Sinners was pretty packed, which was cool.
I had like 30 people, maybe 40. I don't know. It was more packed than it usually is. I tell you that. It was more packed than it usually was. I even said to the wife too, I was like, because when I got my tickets, obviously I was like the first person to get tickets because I'm a dork like that. But I'm like watching as people, like I always watch the app. I'm like, okay, more people are coming in. And I was like, oh shit, man, that's actually quite a few people. So I don't know what the marketing was for Sinners that brought in like such a wide range of people. It was like, there was older people, there was younger people, there was like middle-aged people like me. Like it was just all over the fucking place. So what was the appeal?
I would say my theater was like 70% black.
Yeah, I was.
Well, what about the age demographic? Doesn't matter about race, but that does actually.
Well, it does because it's Michael B. Jordan. It's a black movie.
It's a Black Panther.
It's all black cast.
It's funny because I never even thought of that until you said that. I was like, because I'm personally, I'm not a fan of Marvel movies, so I've never seen the Black Panther films, but I do know who Michael B. Jordan is, and I just can't take his name serious.
Yeah, he's Creed.
It's also Creed, yeah, and I like Creed. I just can't take his name serious, man. I'm like, the only Michael Jordan I know is
well,
not.
That's why I threw the B in there.
Well, that's why he has the B in his name, even on his credits. It's like Michael B. Jordan. I'm like, every time I hear that, I'm just like, dude, Michael Basketball Jordan. That's it. I always think of that every time I hear his name. I'm like, fuck. But yeah,
I actually had multiple ovations.
But at least it's bringing in people to see the films, regardless of what the cast is and stuff like that. Like, speaking of Sinners, I saw the most fucking ridiculous post the other day, and I'm glad that we're on this because I actually kind of wanted to talk about this. It was so fucking stupid. Like, I have never really thought of this before until someone was like tripping dicks, and I thought it was appropriate for myself to bring it up because I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. I'm a Josh Allen fan. And of course, his fiance stars in the film, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a love interest for.
That was the one that ends up was Stack.
Is Stack, yeah. So she's the half white, half black girl in the film.
Quarter, yeah.
Quarter.
So
I believe she was supposed to be quarter, right?
Or whatever it is. She's the mixed girl in the film that gets the pass kind of thing.
Damn,
but
she's really pretty.
So
she's like the white girl that gets invited.
I'm watching the fucking movie, and I kept looking. The whole time I'm like, who is that girl? I can't place it. And I didn't want to be on my phone and stuff, so I waited till after to figure it out. I'm like, oh my god, that's Josh Allen's fiance. So, anyways, I'm like, fuck, that's where I recognize her from, just the pictures and stuff like that. I'd never really seen her in anything. I knew she was an actress, but she does films that I don't really watch and stuff, so that's fine. But anyways, about 3 or 4 days after, I'm like online, I'm like watching a bunch of videos and shit. I see a bunch of posts. They were talking about how her I saw a headline on this website I was on, and it said Sinners will make Josh Allen sick to his stomach. What? And I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, what? So I read the article, and they were talking about how her relation scenes with Michael B. Jordan were so believable and so sexy and outrageous and over the top that how could Josh
is the most insane fucking
dude
thing
I know so get this so I read this
like literally like kind of intentionally comic,
and then I don't even think they were that exploitive or that nasty. There was no
they were like intentional.
There's
even if they were, it's
like,
called fucking acting, bro.
Dude, okay, so this is my point that I'm getting to. So anyways, so I'm reading this article and I'm thinking back on the scenes and I'm like, okay, so there's no nudity. They're very typical acting sex scenes. This is not fucking anything outrageous. It's not that exploitive. It's just normal acting shit. So anyways, people are making a big stink about how Josh Allen should be sick to his stomach and should be like getting rid of her and stuff because this is too outrageous. And I'm like, what the fuck? So then I'm not even sure. I kind of forgot about it, did my thing because that's the way I am. I read shit, forget about whatever, move on with my day. I follow this guy on YouTube called King Shrats. He's a black dude from Jersey. He's like a food reviewer, but he has another channel where he just talks about random shit and stuff. And he's fucking awesome, dude. I love this guy. Anyways, he was talking about the incidents, and he was like, it basically what it was he was telling people that he couldn't be married to or being, in a relationship with an actress. And he was asking the people out there that like, what are your thoughts on being married to or in a relationship with an actor or an actress or whatever? Because, they have to go and do these things on film and screen and stuff like that. And I'm thinking to myself going, what the fuck kind of conversation is this? I'm like, they're actors and actresses. This is what their job is. You know what you're getting yourself into when you're dating something like that. But then of course, every single comment was, yeah, they're not acting. They're just there to get into another relationship. Hence like, fucking Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. Cause I mean, that shit did happen. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like a one-off thing. Maybe not one-off, but I'm sure it's happened in the past and stuff like that. But
happens kind of a lot.
But like, but to be honest though, Tyler, there's millions of movies made every single day and people don't take their shit further than than the movie itself. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, well, it's clearly just like a article.
It's not a common thing.
It doesn't matter too that like even the cases where that happens, it's usually people that are single, which is fine. You know what I
Well,
mean?
no, with the Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie thing, Brad Pitt was with Jennifer Aniston at the time. And remember when he did the movie Mrs. and Mr. Smith or whatever, that's when that relationship actually started.
Okay. Either
That got brought
way,
up in the comments.
what is that, like a fucking 0.01%?
This is my point that I'm trying to make. And this is what I'm trying to object to with the comments, because every comment was like, yeah, these people think that they're acting. No, they're just really there to like get into the relationship and stuff. I'm like, it's just a bunch of stupid fucking comments.
Oh yeah, that's
But
like
people, I mean, they're like, it's literally under 1% of actors. You got to think about all the millions of movies that are made all the time. People are just going to the studio, going to the locations and doing their job and going home. This is what they do. They're actually real actors out there that care about their profession, and they're not trying to be out there like breaking, being home wreckers and all that type of shit. It's amazing the comment section that I saw in this video. It was insane to me. It was like 90% for, yeah, I wouldn't, if I was Josh Allen, I'd be getting rid of her in a second. That was too racy and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with people? It makes no sense to me. If I was Josh Allen, even if I'm me and my wife is on Michael B. Jordan in a film, dude, I'm not thinking twice about it. She's doing her job. That's part of the script. You sign up for this. You're doing what what you signed up for. It's not a big fucking deal. The overreaction with the internet these days is phenomenal. It's outrageous. It's what's the word I'm looking for, man? It's so toxic too. It's like people read whatever you say. Like if you watch somebody on a you respect their opinion and stuff, you just have to agree with them and stuff. I'm like, I went through obviously I didn't go through all 12 or 1,500 comments that are on this video. But everyone that I just kind of shifted and read to, it was the same shit. I'm just like, is this really how people think of actors and actresses? Like they're just being homewreckers and doing all this crazy shit and stuff. I'm like, this is fucking insane to me. But at the end of the day, I just felt bad for, if you were Josh Allen, which he doesn't give a fuck, because he's one of those people that he's even said before, he doesn't worry about the media. He doesn't take what the media says to heart. About football, I'm talking about. And, he goes on with his day. Like he knows he loses and blah, blah, blah. It is what it is. People are going to say some shit. I'm sure he's probably going to be the same thing with, I can't remember what her name is. It's like Steinfeld or something like that. I'm sure it's going to be the same shit. Probably pretty laughable. But you got me thinking though, JP, because I was like, dude, and I'm pretty sure Carly probably hasn't had too many sexy scenes in her films because she doesn't really do this type of films. But
she has a couple scenes. I think I don't know about with another actor or something, but she definitely has some scenes that are racy.
But okay, so put this scenario. So she's on a new film, and she has to do a quote unquote sex scene.
Yeah,
doesn't have maybe the same thing as this film. Like there's no nudity. Like it's
okay, but you could even say there's nudity,
but there's kissing, and there's there's obviously this very steamy moment, right? There's a lot of kissing and necking and touching and all that type of shit, right? Maybe even nudity, whatever. So are you going to sit there and break up with your girlfriend because, you can't handle it because she's an actress? Like it's fucked up to me, right?
But but that's not to say that there aren't people that aren't comfortable with that. And that's fine too.
I respect their opinions. I respect people's opinions if they're not uncomfortable with it, but it's
that's
just
something you communicate with your partner.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure just don't date someone like that in the first place.
You're not, if it's a problem, then that's you come to an agreement, whether it's, if the person agrees to not do it or whatever. But I assume that in this situation, Josh Allen and his girlfriend or fiance have already determined what's good, what's okay and not in their relationship.
Yeah, I'm sure there's nothing that was in this movie that Josh Allen wasn't aware of before.
Right, yeah.
But it doesn't even matter anyways. There's nothing in the film that's over. It's not that exploitive. It's not that hardcore. There's nothing there that's really going to be like,
Really,
oh, dude, like.
I mean, I thought they had great chemistry. If that's what people are afraid of.
So that was actually that's the other part of the argument. They were saying that the chemistry was so good that it seemed like there was something off screen, and that's what people were tripping about too. And then they're like, well, obviously their chemistry is so good.
You're just making up shit at that point.
But what I'm saying is that so their chemistry was so good. So their chemistry is a problem because they're both really good actors.
It's just
what the fuck?
Rage bait.
It's crazy. Like the internet is fucked. It's so fucked up how people start shit.
Trolls and rage bait.
But dude, there was people talking about it everywhere. I was like, and like I said, I only made a point of it because we're talking about it tonight, and also it involves Josh Allen too, which I thought was really intriguing. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. This is fucking crazy. But also that JP also dates someone that's an actress also. But like for me personally, it's like, I mean, I would have no problem. I would have no problem with it. If Erin wanted to get on, if she was doing a film and there was a sex scene and she has to show her titties or whatever, I don't care, because I know that she's just doing her job. She's going to still come home to me. And at the end of the day, nothing is going to come of it. It's not a big fucking deal. People have gone through this forever. Like people are married to a lot of people that we see on screen showing their titties and doing these sexy, steamy scenes and shit like that. It happens all the time and nothing ever comes of it. Like you said, under 1% probably, but yeah, they're not just acting. Fuck off. Do people not realize that people actually do act and get into the characters that they're paid to play? It's what they're doing, man. It's what makes good movies. It gets, when you actually sell the character that well, it's insane to me in 2025 that people are being criticized for doing a really good job. Really good job. It's fucked up, man. I feel sad for the mentality of people that are thinking that, oh, there's a problem here. Josh Allen should be sick. He should dump her. He should break up with her. That chemistry was crazy. That's uncalled for. Unbelievable. Crazy. Unbelievable shit. It's crazy. It's crazy. Right? I mean, why are we criticizing great acting now?
Clickbait.
Yep. Yeah, it's just clickbait.
It is. But it's like I said, though, it's amazing how many people were talking about it after, like content creators were talking about it. It could be. It's funny because Tyler, like me and JB, we come from an era on YouTube where we didn't really have the bots and stuff, and I always forget about that. My kid always reminds me, he's like, "Oh, do you ever get bot comments on your videos?" I'm like, actually, I don't know. I never think of it because on our day we didn't get bots.
Say generic like rage-inducing things because they're just trying to stir interaction.
Yeah.
You don't mean like actual bots?
Actual bots though too. Actual bots
it's
because
like all the bot comments are like just meant to like increase interaction. So a lot of the times
I get what
outlandish things.
Right.
Yeah. Gotcha. It's funny, man.
It's just a whirlwind, man. Like the internet is just such a stupid place. It's such a dumb place. I couldn't stop laughing at this. I'm like, this is so dumb. I would love to see Josh Allen actually respond to this, be like, yo, bro, I got no problem with this. She's an actress. It is what it is, right? I mean, her next script might be that she plays a nun.
Now, if she was in the movie with Patrick Mahomes, I might think something fishy was going on.
Dude, that'd be fun. Totally. Fucking hilarious. Oh, fuck, that's good.
But yeah. I assume that we're gonna be like spoiler light on or spoiler free on these because they're like brand fucking new.
I don't even know how to talk about Sinners without. I mean, it's been out a week now as time we record.
I would prefer if we tried to be pretty spoiler free. Obviously, we have to talk about the plot, but I wouldn't get into specifics about what happens to characters.
Yeah.
No. Can we say what it reminds us of?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think that's fair enough. That's going to be like you expect us to not give any specifics away.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about the movie and what happens in general in the movie. So if you want to go in completely blank, come back to that review. But we will be spoiler free for the most part in terms of how we used to do it.
Right. Fair enough. Do you guys have anything else to talk about? Maybe we'll get into these
I
reviews.
don't think so, honestly.
Man, I did not think our intro was going to be that long today.
Well, we took a week off, so usually when we come back, we're a little more.
True that. All right. Well, if we got nothing else, let's move it along, I guess, man. So that will conclude the intro, and we'll be back with a couple 2025 features shortly.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right, so getting to the featured reviews here on episode 292. We are gonna basically do a modern double feature here. This one has an IMDb date of 2024. Just recently got released on Shudder, I think April 18th. So this is obviously probably a festival date for this one. And it is a film called Dead Mail. Directed by...
Based on Jeremy Freeman's segment on 22 Shots of Mids and Horror.
Right. Yeah, that's actually not true. But Joe DeBar and Kyle McConaughey, I think they've actually done another film together too. I'm not entirely sure what it is. Yeah, I think it was like Bab or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, quick little synopsis. An ominous
Quick little.
anonymous help note finds its way to a 1980s post office, connecting a dead letter investigator to a kidnapped keyboard technician. What?
That's a shitty plot description.
Yeah, that really is. I'm like thinking about what I just read. And investigator to a kidnapped keyboard.
That's what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, but why'd they call him a keyboard technician?
Because he was building
making a musical instrument.
I guess he is, but like, I guess he doesn't have to be a musician. I guess, but yeah, true enough. Okay, I was just thinking him as somebody that like did music and stuff. But yeah, you're right.
It just makes it sound like it's some dude who works on computer keyboards.
That's exactly what it makes it sound like. And it was funny because when he says
factory making keyboards.
Well, when I was thinking keyboard technician, I was thinking about his Swedish friend that he calls for, for the data.
The fucking hacker guy.
For the hacker guy, like the Swedish dude. So thoughts on Dead Mail?
The music's good.
Yeah.
Well, my initial thoughts on the film, like when it said 1980s post office, I was like, okay. And then when the film starts, I was like, oh shit, this legitimately looks like a film from the 1980s. I wasn't 100% sure because I couldn't find the actual specs on it, if it was shot on 35 millimeter or if it was shot digitally with filters. To me, it didn't look like it was filters.
It looks like filters to me. Honestly.
I think it's filters.
Is it? Because it honestly,
because there's a thing at the end of the movie in the credits that have like some companies that sounded to me like digital effects companies.
Okay. Yeah. So basically what's happening with these filters now is that they're looking a lot better than they used to, because that you could see, it almost looked like it had natural grain in it. I was like, wow,
I think
crazy.
It also just has a good like wardrobe and like set look design that everything kind of looks old.
Well, the whole aesthetic of the film felt like it actually was from the 80s mixed in with the like the way it was shot and stuff. And of course the grain. But one thing that really stuck out to me right away about the movie, you notice right away it's low budget, but it didn't really hinder my experience with that. Sometimes low budget films can be like, they can be edited all funky and stuff like that. I thought this one had really good specs. I thought it looked really good. The wardrobe's really good, but the acting stuck out to me as being really, really fucking good. Really good. Like I love the Dead Mail investigator. Like I wish he had been in the movie.
I liked him
longer.
I liked him a lot too. I thought that the movie was going to center around him, and I think that would have been the right call, honestly.
Okay, so my biggest complaint for the film was where it ends up kind of taking a left turn, and it doesn't follow the investigator, because when you read the synopsis, you think that it would follow this character.
Yep.
that works for the post office, and his job. So we should specify what actually his job is. So basically what his job is like when you get mail through a post office that doesn't have a return address, maybe the addresses are wrong or something's been lost in the mail system, damaged or whatever. They need to figure out where it comes from. Cause like I said, sometimes addresses are wrong or whatever. And they investigate and they get it to the appropriate. Yeah. They get it to the appropriate destination. So that's what his job is. He's kind of like, he's like an investigator, like he's like a police officer, kind of detective kind of thing, but for mail essentially.
Yeah. And he has all these like tricks and strategies because he's been doing it a long time or whatever, and he's kind of smart at it, like the way he sort of like finds just like things in the letter, for example, with that necklace that indicate like part of the world that it would be coming from. I thought that was really dope, like how they did all that. And did this movie feel like kind of almost like Italian to you guys at times?
I never really got the Italian vibe. No, but explain.
It just like the way that it's like shot and like sort of some of the lighting and stuff, like almost like gave me like Giallo vibes a little bit. I guess not Italian specifically, but just like sort of Giallo tendencies or something. No.
Right. I don't know. It just felt very kind of almost authentic 80s for some reason. I don't know. It was selling it to me. Like I said, it's low budget, so you don't get like a wide spectrum of things. You don't get to see. It's just like the contained wardrobes and stuff like that. You don't get a lot of vehicles. You don't get a lot of buildings. Like there is some outside kind of like, shots and stuff like that, but it's very contained in itself. I think they do a really good job of kind of creating the scope of what the 80s really was in like a very small kind of budget way. So I really did like a lot of that type of stuff. I just, for myself, the narrative I thought was going to be so cool because I really liked this Jasper character. And his character was really interesting too, because he's one of these guys that really, really does a good job and is, he's really good at his job and he's very well liked within his area, but he's down on his luck. He lives in like one of those, what do they call them? Like the man's shelter. Like it's not a men's shelter. It's a men's shelter. It's basically for people that, they have rooms and stuff like that. They pay rent and stuff. It's not like a halfway home or nothing, but it's just for people that are kind of on a lower budget or whatever, would have a place to shower and live and stuff like that. But do have jobs and stuff like that. And you kind of feel for the character. And then, we have this moment in the film where something happens and you're just like, okay. And then it kind of tells, it shifts directions, in my opinion. Like I love following this character and what he was doing. Cause like JP brought up with the necklace and stuff, we get to see what he does. We get introduced to this character who's over in Sweden, who I think he went to school with. I think that's what it was. And he knew this guy and he's really good with computers and stuff. And he gets information from him. It's like pre-internet stuff, which is, I always found very fascinating that people could find information in those days on computers. I'm just like, okay, whatever. But then, there's kind of like this, something happens within the post office. And then we get introduced to our story and it kind of backtracks itself a little bit. Right. But there is some really cool editing in the film and the way they tell the story, like later on, how it kind of, we see certain things in the beginning and it comes back to, and we get to see the full circle of things and stuff. So the whole construction of the film I thought was pretty interesting. I was never really bored in this one. I was a little bit worried about the running time at first when I saw it being over 100 minutes. I was like, okay, I don't really know how this is going to go. I felt like it was going to be a super slow burn. But to be honest, I was very intrigued with the characters. And I thought the dude that plays the audio technician, I guess is what you want to call him, I thought he was really cool. I thought he was a really good actor too. Our villain in the film I thought was actually pretty cool too. But overall for the film, I was just a little disappointed in where it actually ends up going. Like I thought there was going to be it was such a good setup. And then I was just waiting for it to be like, okay, let's get back to where it kind of started out with. But then it really never does anything.
You know what it felt like to me? It felt like where it, like if it was based on like a true thing, like sort of how the Woman of the Hour movie was, Tyler, where it's like the idea behind the story was like kind of cool, but then like if you tried to flesh it out and do a whole movie, it's like doesn't really have the punch.
It's a good example because that movie was hella disappointing.
It's funny though because this is fiction. So
Yeah.
it's like it felt like that
Yeah.
it was trying to be like like did you guys watch the credits stuff?
No.
Is there credit stuff like at the end of the like after? Because I watched the credits for about 30 seconds and nothing happened, and so I just shut it off.
Yeah, there's credits stuff.
Fuck, really?
Yeah.
So like
the
after credit stuff?
During credits stuff.
Ah, damn it! So I waited like 30 seconds. I was like,
This isn't really a spoiler because it's like it doesn't give away anything away, but the credits basically tell you what happened to everybody in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Like all the characters, like their picture. But it does this thing where like their picture from the movie will pop up, and then a picture of like a real person will pop up, and so it leads you to believe that like, oh, this
Based
is
on a true
real
story. Yeah.
But then at the very end, it says that every event person in this movie was fictitious.
Right.
So it almost like, I think the idea behind the movie is it's supposed to be like a Texas Chainsaw thing where it's like, this is real, but it's not. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that the story is almost like neutered to make it seem more realistic in a way. Like it's kind of a weird idea.
Mm-hmm.
At least the way that I'm taking it.
So this really felt like to me like this guy had this really cool idea for this dead male character and this dead male angle, and he just didn't really have much else.
Right. Like it starts off so strong. Like
yeah,
like,
I was
this
actually like really into this at first. I was like, this is kind of interesting. I like this character, and I thought like just by like the absurdity of like just the way he was acting, the way it was filmed, like it was kind of maybe be like a black comedy. And then like when he has his event, like in the movie, like kind of goes like, let's go back now. I just thought it just like got worse the longer it went.
You know, I just agree. I totally agree because it's like I love the setup to this film, and then where it goes. Okay, so one of my biggest complaints with the narrative is like our lead character, our lead villain or whatever his name is, Trent.
Right. Yeah.
So is Trent just one of those dudes that is like looking for, potential suitors to fulfill a business venture that, because he's kind of lost himself a little bit and stuff, like, because like I
couldn't figure out even what it was at first. I didn't know if it was like supposed to be like a sexual thing. Like he just like generic crazy guy. Like there's nothing to
I don't know, because like he goes to a specific kind of convention where he meets Josh, right? Like he specifically goes there.
That's the one thing about like the movie that's like unique about it. It has like kind of a weird like synth keyboard setup hostage thing. But after that, it's like this is just like a random hostage movie.
Well, I mean, it's not really random because Josh had accepted his deal with the business or the company in Japan, and he was moving to Unagi, right? So obviously,
he was supposed to do the business deal with our.
Yeah, I don't mean like it's like
no, 100%.
Like it just like there's nothing to.
He's just like mad that the dude like double crossed him.
Yeah. Well, he didn't he explains to me, he even says to Trent, he's like, it's not really, well, he doesn't say double cross, but he says something on the lines of like, we're just kind of expanding because like now we have a big deal where I can go and develop these products, these keyboards the way I want to do it in Japan, but we're still partners, we're just kind of expanding. And he wasn't even threatened at that time. He was literally talking from a business vantage point, it's like, but then of course Trent freaks the fuck out and it becomes kind of like this, this hostage kind of torture thing a little bit. But my initial reaction to his motivations for getting into business with Josh in the first place was it's very undetermined. There's really not a lot there within the narrative. Like we get introduced this Trent character. He's at this convention and he kind of takes a liking to him.
Yeah,
but like,
at first I thought he was kind of just sugar daddying him up. Like I thought it was like a kink thing where he's like, I like this guy.
But he like legitimately wants him to do good. Like he legitimately wants him to like create these awesome keyboards. He wants the good parts from Japan. He wants this and that. He wants all these different sounds. He wants to create a good product. He's trying to do the right thing, but of course it goes sour when Josh is like, well, I'm moving to Unagi. So it's like, but the initial like interaction between these characters, it feels so disorientating. You know what I mean? Like it just feels like it's out of left field. Like he just did he go there to do that? Or did he just wind up? He was just enthralled by Josh's talents.
A weirdo. Like this is kind of a special interest. This is like this weird guy, and he's just like really into keyboards and like boutique keyboards. And I thought he would just at this place and he saw that guy like that's the one. Like I thought it was like a love. That's why I thought it was like sexual at first, and like he was like,
I never got the sexual thing at all. I just thought it was.
That's what I thought at first.
I thought it was sexual at first too. I don't know.
Yeah, like I thought like he's like, ooh,
you thought he was kind of like sugarcoating a little bit.
Trying to like sugar daddy. It was like, oh, you can build your keyboard in my garage, and I'll pay you all. I'll get you all these new nice.
It's so weird how our minds are so different because I never once thought it was sexual. I literally thought this weirdo was so enthralled by this guy's ability to be, like create these awesome sounds and stuff, and he just thought that, since he might have the means. I think
that is what it actually is, but I think I just thought it was.
That's what it like.
But it became obsessive. It became obsessive when in a sense, Josh didn't really break the deal. He never said to him that he was going to go to Japan and not be still partners with him. He was just moving because it was a big jump for him and, in his life cycle, right? Like, I mean, come on, dude. Like if you get an opportunity to go work for a company and do some shit, it doesn't mean you have to break your business deal with this other dude. It's like, he told you.
Yeah, but if that's where it becomes weird because it's like, is there any like contract or
no? I think the Trent feels very, he feels like he kind of disowned the whole thing, and he just feels like I can see where he's coming from though, because he was putting a lot of time and effort. Like he was picking up all the shit for him, all the glues. He was helping him out. Like he was doing everything for him. He was getting all the right products and stuff.
Like what's stopping dude from just going to Japan and never talking to him?
Yeah, I think he felt like he was a little bit kind of fucked over there a little bit, but so that's where it kind of takes its turn and stuff like that. But
I think he just didn't want to lose him. Like he liked being controlled.
It's an interesting setup because it got us
needing him.
That too,
Yeah, right. Yeah,
he no longer needed him.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, he did say, like, we never get the notion that Josh is like leaving him just high and dry and like, I'm going to go fuck you over. And so it was never that. He was like, hey, man, I'm just
but Trent wasn't trying to find out. And from like the first time Trent opens his mouth, like, this
Trent wasn't trying to find out, bro.
No. He didn't give a fuck, man. He was definitely that type of controlling psychotic.
Like, before he does anything crazy, you already know like Trent is crazy.
Well, he is crazy because who the fuck has their Napoleon ice cream down in a fucking cellar basement chamber
from the first time
all by itself?
He talks to the guy. You're like, yeah, this guy is fucking cracked.
I actually really like that scene where he goes out of his house, he goes down into the cellar, through the dungeon, and goes to his fucking old school ice box to grab his fucking tub of Neapolitan ice cream. Bring it all the way up, lock the door, go upstairs and eat it. And it's just nasty when he's eating it too. He's like psychotic, man. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. But actually, I did notice one. Kate, did you guys notice this, man, in the beginning of the film, which was kind of pissed me off a little bit? So there's a scene in the beginning of the film with Jasper, actually, when he is leaving his dead male office, and he just kind of figured out that one case or whatever. And then he grabs the bloody letter that's actually sent by, which we later find out is Josh. He throws it in the trash, right? Mm-hmm. He throws it in the trash. He leaves. He goes to his manscape place or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And he starts doing his model. And he pulls out that where he still has that paper.
No, you missed it. Up out of the trash. He goes to leave. He comes back in because it's on his mind. He goes and gets it out of the garbage.
Does he grab it? Okay, because I was going to go back and check to see, because I was like, did I just miss that? Because I might have missed that, actually. Okay, good. Because I was thinking that
because then that's where the scene is where she's like, if you aren't leaving in 5 minutes, you'll be sleeping on bubble wrap or whatever. Yeah, so that's after he came back in.
I didn't see him grab it again. Okay. Because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, he must have grabbed it, because that just seems like such an obvious fuck up, right? Because I threw it in the garbage. Okay, good. But yeah, I mean, this movie has like so much potential. I really like the setup and shit like that. I just don't like when we get that kind of turn in the film where Josh is going to be leaving, and then we get what happens. I feel like nothing happens.
It's like just very generic. It's very like uninspired. It's just it's just something to connect it to like the good idea he had for the first 25 minutes of this movie.
I mean, the most exciting thing after the fact is like we got the two postal workers that Jasper works with, and they're trying to, they become sleuths, and they, they kind of figure out some shit, and like that's really what we get, because even like the very end of the movie is very disappointing.
Like,
and it's actually disheartening too, because what happens in the end of the film too, it's not satisfying at all.
Yeah.
And it's kind of one of those points where you kind of get pissy with it too, because you're like, really, again?
Yeah, it's like I thought like the filter was cool, like I thought the music was cool, but like at some point, like it became okay.
Everything about this movie I thought was good. I thought everything about this movie, I thought even this, like I said, the setup, I really liked the music. I thought the aesthetic was really good. The cinematography was really good in the film too. Like I really liked what they did. The editing was fine. It had a really good pace to the film. But with all that said and done, I don't think there's any problems with any of the specs of the movie whatsoever. I thought the acting was fantastic. I thought everyone was really good. I just feel like the narrative just fails itself hardcore. They didn't know what the fuck to do with it. It's like you could have turned this hardcore, but you don't. And then what you try to accomplish with, this person, I don't want to give everything away, but you know what I mean? Like it doesn't do a lot. It doesn't really do anything to be like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then where it leaves you is like, fuck.
So to answer Dave Z's question that he had in the chat the other day, horror?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's definitely horror, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a horror film, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
But I don't really have like a ton more to say on it, but
I mean, I did want to say one thing. I did get vibes of like Silence of the Lambs, like right when he
me too.
right when
I
he
thought of that right away.
Yeah, when he fucking locks Josh downstairs and shit and he starts talking on the mic, I was waiting for him to say, just put the lotion on. I was just waiting for the line. He puts the lotion
on the skin, dog.
But instead it was just Neapolitan ice cream time. I don't know, man. I thought maybe there was like some kind of weird metaphor with the fucking Neapolitan ice cream, because it was like you're dealing with white and black and stuff. And like, where's the strawberry color come into? I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking a little bit. Are they trying to put something in there? But I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, this is one of those kind of movies that's really frustrating, because I was liking everything about this. And even by the end of the movie, I was even like, it was a really good, well-made film with a piss poor kind of like result. Like the third act kind of sucked, right?
Yeah, I would say that the first act is really good and engaging. The second act is okay. And the third act is just like...
Well, the second act is frustrating in the movie, because you're like, okay, is anything going to really go down? Like it wasn't, terrible, nothing.
That whole relationship stopped being interesting, like basically once the whole might be moving away conflict happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see some people saying, the scene where Josh basically ends up mailing the letter. I could see people saying, holy shit, man, that's super convenient that there's a fucking, post office mailer right in front of their house and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I got one in front of my house. So shut the fuck up.
Serious.
Yeah. I had one literally when I was growing up, like right at the bottom of my steps.
But it's just one of those things where he gets out and like, he does the shit. And I actually kind of like what, like, I mean, it turns pretty dark, like the way he retrieves that fucking letter. It's pretty dark, actually. And I felt so shitty, dude. I was like, I love Jasper. I thought he was fucking awesome. So, but yeah.
Yep. Ratings?
I guess there's not really. Man, these movies are like newer movies are always hard to talk about.
It's very simple after like the first half hour.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. In terms of the review, not in terms of movie.
Dude, the fucking handyman's hair, though, is that not some of the most 80s fucking hair you've ever seen? Like that ponytail. that was like totally business in the front, party in the back thing. it's
Oh,
nasty.
yeah,
That's
that guy.
That's a
Yeah,
nasty.
I had to think about it for a minute who you were talking about. Yeah.
That is some nasty ass hair. That was very authentic looking, actually. It was pretty gross. Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, this one is it was just frustrating for me. I just wanted it to go out with a bang. I think this could have been definitely one that people would have been talking about in terms of like, especially like the way it looked. I thought it looked really good. Like I said, apparently these digital filters are getting a lot better, because I kept looking. I even looked it up. I'm like, was it shot on 35 and just maybe with a more of a filter on there? But I thought it looked really good for what they did. So, but the standout though for me really is that like old school, not even Casio type keyboard music, but like the music was really good. It really fit for the film, and it felt kind of psychotic too when they're playing like, the old kind of like psychotic music, whatever you want to call it. Some good stuff. Tyler, what do you give this one?
All right. I felt like this movie had a lot of promise, and maybe that's why I ended up liking it even less when I felt like it really fell in on itself. Probably gonna be a bit lower than you guys on this movie. I wouldn't watch this movie again. It had some cool novelties even after Jasper that really kind of wore off on me as the script kept getting worse. I ended up really not liking this movie. I'm gonna give it 4.5.
You know what really kind of frustrated me about the movie right when it started? That it gives it like a disclaimer. I'm like, is this a joke? I mean, this is what are we watching, a fucking TV show on network television?
And like that, there wasn't even anything that serious in the movie either.
But why even have that there? Like, that's what you see at the beginning of like a network television TV show where it might have some racy shit where they're telling people, hey, viewer discretion is advised. That's literally what it did in this. And I'm like, why the fuck? It's a movie. There's already a rating system for that. You don't need to tell.
I think that it was
audience.
supposed to go along with the idea that this was like a real thing.
Yeah, but I mean, they have those type of warnings on, fictitious fucking TV shows too. It's like, it's just a parental warning, right? I don't know. I didn't buy into it, but JP, what do you give it?
I'm a little bit higher than Tyler. I liked most of the beginning of the movie. I still didn't think it was like a bad like time waster. It's not like list worthy or anything. But I gave it a 6.5 out of 10.
I gave it 6. So I'm at 6.
All right.
It's just really frustrating to me because, like I said, I like everything about the movie except for just really where it went. I think it's just a big missed opportunity. They could have done something else. Like, if you got to go one way, you can't have this type of character that's just not being fully psychotic, or you can't just hold somebody and eat fucking Neapolitan ice cream and get it all over your fucking face and shirt and stuff. It's just, what is that? All right. Anyways, that's Dead Mail from 2024. Available for 2025. All right, so moving into the headliner from 2025, directed by Ryan Coogler. We have Sinners. Yeah. So Coogler's not really he's not like a full-blown like genre director. What else has he actually directed besides the Black Panther movies? Oh yeah, Creed. He did Creed. Right.
I guess that makes sense.
So he actually did Creed. Yeah, so that makes sense. I knew him for the Black Panther. I knew the name, but yeah, he directed Creed also. Right. I knew that. I haven't seen his, those are all shorts. So yeah, I'm pretty unfamiliar with his work. I've only ever seen Creed. I'm not a Marvel fan, so I cannot judge him on his Marvel stuff. I'm assuming, JP, you've probably seen the Black Panther films.
He did the Black Panther movies?
Yeah, with Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, so that's
Michael B. Jordan is in the Black Panther movies?
Is he not Black Panther?
I thought that was Chadwick or whatever, the guy that died.
Oh yeah, maybe he's the dude that plays. No, is he not in fucking? Like I said, I do not know fucking Black Panther movies.
That Chadwick dude was Black Panther, I think, right?
Yeah. What about the second one?
Hey, Tyler, is Michael B. Jordan Black Panther?
Or is he?
No, he's Kilimanjaro, the other guy.
Yeah, he's in Black Panther, right?
Yeah, he's only in the first one. He's the villain in the first one.
Yeah, there you go. Eric Killman. Yeah, there you go. I thought he was in one of them. I don't.
Killmonger, that was his name.
Okay, so I'm very green on.
No, I've never. To answer your question, I've never seen Black Panther.
I've only seen the first one. Yeah, the Black Panther was Chadwick Boseman. He died.
Okay,
Yeah, I did know that.
Right. So he's worked with like Michael B. Jordan has worked with Cougar 3 times at least. So, but yeah, great.
Yeah, that's his guy. He was in his movie Fruitvale Station too, which was kind of like his indie breakout movie, and that was like before Michael B. Jordan was a big star, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Yeah, of course. I mean, there's a few people in here I recognize. I mean, more people. I'm assuming a lot of these actors and actresses and stuff play in a lot of films that we probably.
I was really happy to see Delroy Lindo in this. I like Delroy Lindo a lot. He's a great character actor.
Yeah, he's cool, man. That guy's awesome, man. But of course, we talked about Haley. Yeah, that's her name, Haley Steinfeld, Josh Allen's fiance. She's in the film. Then you got what's his name, Omar Benson Miller. He's been in a few things I've seen. I think.
8 Mile.
Is that what he is? Yeah, I can't place it.
Oh, is that the chubby dude?
Yeah.
He's
the guy that looks like Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, totally. He's like a younger version of Forrest Whitaker. Yeah. Exactly. That's the greatest way of like describing him for sure. Yeah. All right.
I almost thought I was looking at like a 30-year-old like Forrest Whitaker.
Totally, 100%, man, 100%.
And you know what's funny? As he's getting older, he's looking more like Forrest Whitaker.
Right. If he gets if he develops a lazy eye, this is going to be crazy. But yeah, synopsis on the film: trying to leave their troubled lives behind, twin brothers return to their hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. All right, so for the people that don't know, Michael B. Jordan actually plays dual characters in the film, which
I didn't know until Carly pointed it out during the movie. I was like, holy shit, really? I was like, he's on the screen at the same time. And
how did you not notice that was the same person?
I thought it was twins, bro. I don't know. Like they cast twins all the time.
Well, they did the body double thing, so you'd have a lot of shots where one will put their head down and be out of focus on the other one, and
it's a lot easier to do that. But there are scenes where they're both on screen at the same time as well.
It's
a lot easier nowadays. Like it's not even hard really to do that anymore.
Remember back in the day, you could always tell because they would like green screen or whatever the fuck they would do, like the effect that they would do. I thought it looked really good because I even said to Aaron, I even turned to her and I said, "Wow, that looks really good." Because there's that scene where they're like literally talking to each other, and it looks like they're fucking talking to each other. I was like, wow, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah, stuff.
They did a really great job on that whole aspect of the movie.
Yeah, the one thing I really wanted to point out about this movie was, my God, dude, the acting in this film is so good. Like Michael B. Jordan is like I said, I'm unfamiliar with him really besides Creed.
I've never seen him before. I've never seen anything he's been in. And I was like, dude, this is like one of my new favorite actors. I think I'll pretty much watch anything this guy's in after this.
I mean, I really like Creed. I thought his performance was really good. But I mean, at the end of the day,
Creed movies. This is my 5th movie I've seen him in.
It makes me want to watch the Creed movies because for one, I've always just wanted to anyway because I like the Rocky movies.
Yeah. No, they're good. They're fine.
Yeah, and I like the idea that story continued into like a whole new trilogy. Like that's pretty dope.
Yeah. But like, you know, at the end of the day, Creed it's a boxing film. It's like, I mean, I shouldn't just say that. I mean, Rocky was nominated, you know, for Academy Award, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, a little bit different. I mean, you can't really fully judge someone's acting chops on like a modern kind of boxing film, but he's really good in it though. So that's really what I knew him from. So I was really shocked to see that he was cast as like a dual role in this. And I was like, holy shit, that's kind of fucking crazy. But I thought
every single person in this movie did an amazing job.
Everybody.
There was not one person that I didn't like.
There literally is. This should be nominated for like an ensemble cast Academy. There should be an Academy Award.
Is that the new award that's starting this year?
What's up?
There's a couple new reward. I think one of the new rewards starting is casting, or at least that's one they were talking about. Where there's a
Well, they should call it ensemble cast.
I think there has been casting director awards in the past.
Yeah,
right?
I think so. But like an ensemble cast, like I'm talking about pretty much everybody that's in the film, like just as a whole, because everybody in this movie sells their roles so fucking well. It's like mind blowing. I was so enthralled by every single character, and that's the one thing about this movie I loved so much is. Obviously, there's a huge tonal switch in the beginning of the film. If you know anything about the movie, like there's going to be a point in the film where everything just kind of changes. But the character development in this movie is so goddamn good with both brothers, the love interests, all the kind of side characters. Everybody in this movie is just phenomenally written. I was a little bit worried going into this film, it being 2 hours and 17 minutes. I was like, fuck, are you serious? I looked at the runtime. I was like, and every time I see a film that's over 2 hours in a genre film, sometimes I get a little bit worried because, it could drag. I wouldn't say this movie dragged for more than 4 seconds. You know what I mean? Like there is so much good character development.
There's always stuff going on.
It's just such a good narrative, man. And then of course you get the switch in the film, and then it turns into kind of the second half of the film, and it's kind of batshit from there. But man, really, really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. Yeah. So, JP, what are your overall thoughts on Sinners?
Fucking loved it to death.
Yeah.
like I told you that I watched The Ugly Stepsister, and I was like, this is my favorite movie of the year while watching it. That lasted about 45 minutes because like 20 minutes into Sinners, I was like, dude, this is really good. I was like, hopefully it gets horror, because if it's a really good movie, but if it gets horror, then it's probably going to be my number one so far this year. But I was just like super enthralled from the beginning. Like I usually don't like when movies open up with a scene that happens later in the movie, which happens in this movie.
Yeah.
Where the opening scene is like basically the after events of what happens in the movie.
How many times have I said that on this show?
Yeah, I know. I typically don't like it either, but sometimes it is done in a way that works so well. And I think in this one particularly, it works really well doing it that way, especially because there's more that happens after that scene. So,
but I will say though, even with that said, and I do agree, it doesn't really affect this movie, but I still think it's not needed though. You don't need to show the preacher's son coming in like that. You technically don't need that. I'd be fine without seeing that.
Argument in this film, it was actually very good, and I think it made the movie better, and that's because you knew something like was going to happen. Like you knew something was inevitably going to happen.
Of course,
and I felt like they spent all this time doing not horror stuff, just developing characters that you would actually like. And I did start to notice, like I kind of started to get like that tense and like nervous, just knowing like something is inevitably going to happen, where like these people are going to be harmed, or like
it actually
for that moment to happen.
It actually also, Tyler, with that whole thing, like it makes the final line of the movie even more powerful. I think the main line that a lot of people really love about the events and stuff. And I think that because you have this forebodingness, like knowing that something is going to happen, it makes you sort of see how these characters are interacting and like what leads to. First of all, the movie's name is Sinners, which I think is really important to like the idea of the movie as well. Because it's really is about that. Like it's about there's a lot of religious tones in this movie, but I think handled like super well as well.
Well, you have to remember the time period though too, because so this movie is set in Prohibition, which we haven't said. So it's set in like the early, I think like 32 or 33 or something like that. Doesn't really matter.
I think it's a 32 or 33.
Yeah, it's Prohibition. And it makes complete sense that the brothers came from Chicago and they did some dirty shit like that and came back down to the South, whatever. I think that's pretty interesting.
But it's
But you-
also, I think they do such a good job too of building their reputation without ever showing you what happened.
Yeah, well, they don't need to because
You
it's
don't
just
know.
it's
You never
implied
see
that
what happened in Chicago. You never seen what happened before they left here and
Yeah.
went to Chicago. But
Yeah,
it's,
just by the way they create the mythos around them, like like these are like two guys that have done and seen some like really bad stuff, but they never need to actually tell you any of that.
but they
Yeah.
also have a professionalism to them as well. They have an idea.
well,
of
they learned that from being around the gangster life, right?
but they
we-
also
we don't know how they
but
were
the big
before,
difference between them and like any other gangster life people is they also have a tinge of where they came from with their uncle, and like even the scene where the one brother essentially tells the nephew like this ain't for you, you know what I mean, like, and they even comment on like the his father and say like he was
Yeah.
like a good guy and stuff like that. So you get the sense that they were part of this family but chose a different path.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they still have parts of them that come from this sort of more religious.
Well, they're still rooted. They're still rooted. I mean, they come back and like, I mean, they're never going to leave their roots and stuff like that. I really like that about them. You know, going back to the whole sinners idea, you know, it taking place. So I'm watching this film and like, again, I went into this film not knowing anything about the narrative, and we were about 25 minutes into the movie. And I really, I was like, is this movie about Robert Johnson? Do you guys know who Robert Johnson is? Okay, so Robert Johnson was it's a very famous kind of story. It's like a folklore story, but it's based on a real person. Like this guy actually really did country music and stuff like that. In this case, he does more blues.
Oh,
right?
the guy that sold his soul to the devil. Yeah, I actually think that is definitely definitely inspired.
So
by
do you
that.
think our league
Yeah.
So I love the idea that the narrative, like the core narrative in this film about how, you know, the religious aspect of it, like if you played so good, if you played music so good, you could open up, you know, the realms to a different world and, you know, basically leak in the devils and stuff like that.
It attracts them, which I thought and that's where I kind of like
Well, I think the
when
idea is that you
Tyler
play so
sort
well,
of-
you literally open up the doors for, you know, these kind of these devils and stuff to come through and stuff. And because they're coming for it, like they're literally coming for you. But like
Yeah.
the Robert Johnson thing, like I couldn't help. I literally said to the wife, I'm like, is this about Robert Johnson? Like, this is crazy. Like it instantly reminded me of the story about him. And for the viewers out there or the listeners that don't know the story, just in a nutshell, it's basically about this guy, Robert Johnson, who was like an aspiring country music player back in like the 30s. And he was okay. He was okay as a player and stuff. He tried to do his thing and stuff or whatever. But anyways, the legend goes is that he disappears for a little bit. And he comes back a short little while later. And all of a sudden he's like this insanely great musician. And the legend has it is that he possibly sold his soul to the devil so he could, you know, play really well and, you know, become famous.
He met the devil on like a crossroad.
Yeah.
At like a certain time period or whatever.
It's really
It's
interesting.
funny you say that because weeks ago when they were showing the trailers to this movie and I didn't know anything about it really, I actually forgot about it. And whenever I was seeing what was coming out, I was like, what is Sinners? And I had no idea that it was the same movie because I forgot already.
Yeah.
But when we initially saw that trailer, I had said to Carly, I was like, I wonder if this is going to be about like that dude who like allegedly sold his soul to the devil. And that was just from seeing the trailer. So
I never saw the trailer. I was about 20 minutes into it and going, is this Robert Johnson? And all I wanted to do the whole film was get on my phone and be like, is this inspired by Robert Johnson's, you know, legendary kind of folklore story?
It definitely takes some aspects of it, especially once you get into the post movie stuff.
Yeah.
I think.
Right. I honestly, dude, I got shivers in the credit scenes, man.
Was
I
that
like,
dude supposed to look like Tupac at that point? Like, did you get a Tupac vibe, dude?
I have no idea. That's fucked up.
Because and hear me out. Here's why. Because like it's all about music and how the time period had changed. And also we get this
It could be consciously done.
Amazing scene in the movie where we're seeing different eras and essence of spirits, dude. I fucking love that scene.
That's the scene I've been like
even talking about it right now. I'm getting goosebumps because my favorite scene in the film, and you know me, man, I love music, man. It's like my life. And when they're breaking down and they're talking about like how music has changed, cultures and society and eras and stuff, and it's coming through, and you got like the country playing, you got the rock playing, all of a sudden the DJ's scratching. I'm like, what the fuck? This is awesome. And it just hit me so hard. Hit me so hard. I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Not just the music aspect too, but just like the culture aspects, like the different eras of clothing and like different.
The fact that scene was all like a one take too, that just went around the entire room, just and cycled, like floated above. That was like one of like.
Well, it was cool, man. Like you had the whole Bootsy Collins character, like from the '70s, playing like the funk and shit.
Yeah, that was like by awesome. By an absolute mile, like my favorite scene in the movie.
It's really effective.
It's really effective. 7.5, Tyler. I'm just saying.
It's really effective.
Why are you so salty over a number?
It's super. What? You gave this movie a 7?
Because you're wrong. He's just wrong.
I gave it. Well, we'll wait till we get to that.
Yeah, we'll wait till we get to that. Literally, the only thing I didn't like about this movie, like, there's literally one thing.
Yeah, there's one.
It was the CGI snake, and it was such a small, like, throwaway thing that I didn't like.
So yeah, I mean, the CGI snake I thought was definitely the worst thing. But honestly, man, there's a scene where someone's burning in the end too, and I was like. Dude, I really wish they just went out and just got the permits and
really.
Did the
I didn't
liability.
even think it looked bad.
Oh yeah, I thought the fire looked.
It's funny because you're the only person. Everyone I've talked to that's seen the movie said the same thing. I was like, how cringe was the burning at the end? I'm like, it's because apparently I don't know, man. It's one of those things I think where I'm not 100% sure, but if they did some practical on that and then just covered it up with a little bit of CG, I don't know idea.
I think it was like that.
But I
honestly did not think it looked bad at all.
It was just my biggest problem. The CGI snake I thought was actually a stupid thing to even put in the movie because it just looked bad and you didn't really need to do that whole scene anyways.
Yeah, that scene just felt so out of place. It
did. It really did. It really did. But besides that, for the most part, I thought the effects are really good and stuff, but
they use a ton of practical effects in this movie.
Yeah, just a couple moments where they just kind of shit the bed with CG.
It's practical where it's like polished with CG, which is my preferred method if we're going to use CG. But I think that even like the villains acting, I thought was really good, and I thought they were very menacing and creepy.
So I do have a question.
I like the whole idea of like adding the KKK into the movie in different parts without being like overbearing. Like it never felt like it was being like preachy and like weird. It was just like, this is a part of history that happened.
Super fucking woke and shit. But you got to remember, this is a period piece where this was a big time thing.
Right. That, and it felt natural. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It didn't feel like it was like making a big like statement about like, oh, look how horrible
I love how they set that up for the end of the film too. And when they're buying the property off the guy, and he's like, yeah, next time you guys bring your fucking KKK buddies over here, man, I'm gonna blah blah blah. And he's like, what do you mean? The KKK ain't around anymore.
Yeah.
And you knew right away. I was like, oh, bro. I'm like sitting, I'm going like, I'm doing this. I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be fucking awesome. But yeah, good shit though, man. Good shit.
It's I think that like it's a very like, and I think like where Tyler was saying that I guess the horror aspect to you was a little simple. Is that what your complaint was?
Do you want me to give my criticism of this movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So this is my criticism of this movie. I'm not saying like the horror is bad or any aspect of this movie is bad, like in terms of execution or anything like that. So going back to like the scene we were talking about, that I think is like the greatest scene in the movie, and I really liked how they were like dipping into that spiritualism aspect of this movie, and I felt like the movie was building into something that was like going to like be really unique and like really delve into like something deeper into that meaning, and it kind of felt like it was a build up for what ended up just being a siege movie to me.
Yeah, but I think that you're kind of off base on that because it does have a deeper meaning. It does have an overarching theme. It's not just like random villain things sieging.
I'm
a
not
building.
saying it doesn't have a meaning, but I wanted it to go.
Well, you don't have to continue the meaning that's showcased in the first half of the film until it
I know you
turns
don't
into the
have
second
to do
half.
that, but I think
It's already
that,
established by that point.
But
We
they
already
actually,
get
but
it.
they actually
my
do
criticism
that.
though
That's
is
the
I think
thing.
like I
Yeah.
think this movie would have been better if it had gone into that or made that a more important aspect to the horror. Or
Well, they definitely do, because
But
I
you
mean,
don't think
if,
it was
if,
an important aspect?
if you
No,
take
I
the
don't.
themes, if you take the
What?
themes,
The entire-
this is two simple ways you could have made it a more important aspect. One,
Okay.
I hate this. Like, I don't hate the scene, but I think the scene where it actually shows you that they're vampires before they show up is like a scene that hurts the movie.
okay, so I'm glad you brought this scene up, because I actually have a question about that scene. So
What scene are you talking about? Like when he's running through the
When the sun's going down and he gets chased to he gets sheltered to the first house where he can find because he's getting chased by the Native Americans.
so where he ends up changing those other the couple.
Yeah.
See, that's interesting that you say that, because at that point I still didn't know what they were, and then once I found out later, I was like, oh, because his skin was burning. That makes sense.
No. My problem with that scene isn't that at all. I mean, right away I was like, okay, it's got to be vampires. But my problem is with that scene that, kind of filters into the rest of the film. So that dude, that vampire that's being chased by the natives, they're hunting him down because they've obviously got, which is totally unexplained in the film anyways, but it doesn't really matter. They've obviously got some type of connection. They understand what's going on. It's very spiritual and shit. Anyways, they chase him into this house, which he eventually changes these two people over. What happens to there's no natives in the rest of the film? Like,
that's what I told Carla. I was like, I really expected the natives to show back up.
Me too, man.
I'm kind of glad they didn't, because that's like more realistic. Like sometimes they're just like, it's so Hollywood to have them show up in the third act, right? So it's like,
true. But it got me thinking. I was like, what the fuck happened to those guys? They're
just still out there looking for them.
Yeah, I guess. But
they were retreating at that point because they were like, we got to get back. We need shelter.
I think they're kind of like, we did our best.
They can't do anything anymore. He knows, like,
okay. So the villains in this movie, and I think that like this is something that I've seen some people say, like, to me, they're not just vampires. Like I think that's where it kind of makes the movie more interesting. Is it could have just been generic vampires like in Demon Knight, how it's just generic.
Well, they're not, because they're there for a reason. But
what I'm saying is they're not like traditional like vampire. It's more of a demonic vampire. Like demons and vampires are kind of one and the same in this world, and it's and the vampire being has much more to do with like a religious aspect than just like sucking blood. Like it's part of the hell, basically. You know what I mean?
It's a really interesting.
I like that aspect where they sort of go back to the historical parts of vampires, which was much more about religion and sort of like demonic things than just like a creature.
For sure, but they take it one step further though, Ben, because the way these vampires are basically kind of filtered into reality is through the essence of playing so damn good. I think that ideology is like the music. Like if you didn't have anybody like a Robert Johnson or this character that played so damn good, you wouldn't have these demonic vampires filter through, because that's really what opens up the gates, in a sense, the gates of hell to come into filter into our world, kind of thing, right?
It's also because like music, especially at earlier points in history, was a very spiritual thing. Like
it's going back to mythology about like selling your soul to the devil, and how music has always been kind of associated with the evilness of the world and stuff like that.
But if you even go back, like, and they show it in the film with the flashbacks of tribes people and stuff like that. Every sort of like, praying and spiritual thing in human history involved music. It always has.
Right.
So it's
that's where it's kind of disappointing with the native aspect, because the natives were always, they're very spiritual people, and they're always in touch with that. And everything is about the drums and the music essence of, it's the spirituality of the music, and everything's always connected. That's where it was kind of disappointing, because it was kind of cool to see the natives show up they're chasing them because they knew something was fucking up, right? Like they have that spirituality, they have that essence about them. But it was like, man, it would have been kind of cool because especially up in Canada, like, I mean, it's a big thing up here. But I was like, yeah, where'd they go, kind of thing. But it's not even that big of a deal. But I really like the whole connection with the music and the demonic forces and stuff, because it's like a folklore thing. I mean, this movie could almost be folklore. You know, it's like a folklore vampire film.
This is
right?
definitely a folklore movie, 100%.
Yeah. So it's a very cool concept.
Is Carly notoriously does not like period pieces. And that day I got her to enjoy 2 period pieces, but even Carly loved this movie. Yeah. And it's not necessarily one that's built for her in terms of like typically the things she likes.
I mean, one thing I got to say about this movie, man, like
we were literally dancing at one point, like with the music. It was such good music in this movie. And the way they do it, we're literally like dancing. It was like so fun.
The dude that plays the guitar player, I don't know who he is. Is he doing his
or the
preacher's son? The preacher's son.
Yeah, the preacher's son.
Like the protagonist.
Yeah. So I just can't remember what his name is.
Miles Catton.
Yeah.
So this is the only movie he's ever been in. And he's a musician, so this is
dude. Like I was gonna say, I was watching this going, this is obviously him playing and singing. What a fucking phenomenal job, dude. Like the scene in the vehicle where he fucking was it Smoke or is it Stack? I can't remember which one. I'll get him fucked up all day. But anyways, he's driving.
This is Smoke because the one in the blue is Smoke. The red one, the red.
Okay, so when he's driving up the highway in his fucking in his old school car. In his what are they called? Whatever, Model Ts or whatever.
Actually, it would have been the other way around. Just kidding.
Yes, when he's in his fucking souped up Model T and shit like that, and he's like, "Yo, man, we're sitting here like play some shit," and he starts playing and he looks over and he goes, "Oh!" And like instantly, it's like anybody that knows music, you can tell someone's talent within 4 bars, right? You can just tell. This is how Dr. Dre actually used to filter through in his world too. Like if he didn't fucking feel you after 4 bars, you're done. That's it. You can tell talent after 4 bars. And like the way he looks over, like Michael B. Jordan's reaction in that scene is like one of my favorite things in the movie. He just like, he's driving. He's like, oh, like he has no idea how talented he is. Right? He's like, God damn, that's good. And I love that scene, man. It's fucking great. But man, that dude can play and sing like a motherfucker. Mad props on the music in this film. Second to none. Well, actually, one of the best. I mean, this movie is a fucking musical disguised as a dramatic horror film. That's what it is.
The music's so good in this movie.
It's so good.
The sound design is so good in this movie. The cinematography, set design, like you can go down the list of like the important aspects of like technically being a good movie, and it just nails all that. So what we're left with is like the story, the character development, the acting, and I think it nails all that as well. Like, I mean, I think that this is one of the coolest movies to come out like in years.
What's the actress? I don't know what her name is. She's the bigger girl, the one that I think it's Smoke that has relationships with.
She was great as well.
Fuck, I loved her, man. I thought I felt so shitty for her, man. At one point in the film,
heart out of anybody in the movie. Like
Musaku.
I
just love her character. Like she's this country woman, and like she sold it so fucking well. And like she's got this little store, and like she's willing to take like non-payments, and like there's something about her character, and like. Just being all mixed up with these kind of like gangsters, but like,
she also has been protecting them for years,
right?
With her magic, and so here's the thing with the sinners aspect. Like everybody in this movie is a sinner, even her, and she's the best person, because she's messing with voodoo essentially, which is a sin. What I mean. So even like
which only makes sense in the South, right?
Movie. Every single person in this movie is sinning, and it's like,
but everybody is always sinning.
Though. Relate to them as well, like, and I relate so much to like the end of the movie, and I just think that the way they say like what's on the people's mind is just like brilliant, and I think that it also like is a kind of cool statement, but. I don't know, bro. So
you think the overall statement of the film really is like, I mean, if you're living a life of sin, you're
But no,
eventually,
because the
eventually going
movie-
to be punished.
But the movie doesn't say that. That's not
No,
the
yeah.
final saying.
No. I'm
of
just
the
saying,
movie.
but that could be something that's in there, though, right?
It is
in the mix.
something that's in there, but the actual statement of the movie is not that, even
Right.
though the most
Yeah.
of the movie is that.
Yeah.
And I think that was like what was cool in the end, where I'm like, dude, I fuck with the messaging in this movie. I think that it's like super cool. I think that the final quote of the movie, like the line, like just stuck with me so hard, because I think back to like some of my like most delinquent things that I've ever done. Like, I regret the end result, but like the moment it was happening was like bliss. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, yeah, I shouldn't have been doing all this stuff and the end result was bad, but man, was it a fun time before that happened.
Right.
So it's like, I could totally relate to like what they're saying.
So how do you explain it away? Like, I kind of rack my brain around it a little bit, but like, if you take the aspect of like the core narrative of like, open up the gate, so you don't play music so well, and that's how they kind of filter through and stuff like that. Like, so are you being punished for being super talented? Because at the same time, like the preacher,
no, because it doesn't have anything to do with the actual like talent or anything. It does have to do with the talent. It doesn't have to do with the actual music. It has to do with the lifestyle, the what's in your head, what you're attracted to, what is
the energy you're outputting.
But it's kind of ironic a little bit that the preacher's son is probably the most, he's probably the most soiled, and he's probably the most like, kind of pure character really in the film.
But he could also be the most connected with himself. So like, that's why like the energy like he puts out is like much stronger and more attractive.
Well, of course. I mean, he's the one that kind of opens up the gate, but he's not really a sinner. Like, he's literally a preacher's son that kind of abides by the rules. And
no, he's not. He might be the biggest sinner in the movie.
What? Because him playing the music?
No, because what he's
Think of some
attracted
things he
to
does
is
at
in
the
his
party.
heart. But it's in his heart. That lifestyle is what he wants. Okay. The reason why he's the biggest sinner is because he is the preacher's son. He is most connected to God,
right?
But he's also the one that's attracted to the bad stuff the most out of everybody. It's in his eyes, it's in his soul, it's in his essence. Like, they know that this is the key right here. This guy the people that are most connected to God that fall astray are always the ones that the devil is most interested in, right? Like, and that's like actual biblical stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
The people, the fallen angels or whatever you want to call it, like the preachers, the people that are most connected to God are always the most enticing to the devil. It's not the ones who are already bad, that were born bad, and like I don't have no need for those. You know what I mean? That's the idea anyway.
Yeah. I know. Trust me, I do know. I'm married to a preacher's daughter.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. But I mean, just having the idea in your mind that, like, I guess when he's been told many, many times by his preacher father that, like, you're going to fucking open up a can of whoop ass, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Open up a can of worms here. I mean, is that the cardinal sin kind of thing? I guess, because if you truly believe that, the music is the gateway for the devil, I mean, that's always been a thing in religion, right? So
I think that also, like, the reason
I never really looked at him as being the biggest sinner, because I didn't see, but now that you say that out loud, I guess it makes sense. But like, in reality, he wasn't really committing cardinal sins besides being an aspiring musician who played the devil's music.
It's not just what you do, though. That's like the idea of religion. It's not just what you do, it's what's in your heart as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's what he had a pathway, right? There's two branching roads. The one side,
but I also call it passion, though, too. I felt like his character was just so full of passion. He really knew and kind of thought that he really could make it because he was super talented. He knew he was talented. Like, I mean,
oh yeah, but it wasn't about that to him. Like, it wasn't just about like using my talent. Like, he could use his talent in many ways. It was about being attracted to the things he shouldn't have been attracted to, quote unquote. Yeah. But like, the one,
I don't agree with that sin, because like, everyone has, I mean, it really does mean that everyone's a sinner, because everyone's attracted to something or has had an evil thought or maybe have done something. I mean,
right, but
essentially
it's worse for him because he knew in advance, right? Like that's the idea, is that you have a preacher's son, who, and we know right away how involved he is because he starts reading the sermon and closes the book and quotes it from then on. So he knows it so well that he doesn't even need the book. Right. So the people that know the wicked that knew in advance are the ones that get it 10 times worse, because some people don't know, like like this kid was shown evil.
I can't believe my wife is going to hell.
This kid was shown evil and still chose to go down that path. But some people just fall down that path and they don't know it's evil. This kid is the idea that and we see that where the movie goes. But I think that's one of my favorite aspects of the movie too, is how they handle that character. Whether you think that it doesn't matter like what you think, it's just what's in the movie. You know what I mean? And of course, like, this kid was just being a kid to me. Like, I mean, I've done way worse stuff, but like in the context of this movie, it's worse because
it's such a funny thing in reality, how we perceive people and what they do. Because, like, you know, if he wasn't the son of a preacher, it wouldn't even be looked upon as being really a bad thing. He was just a guy pursuing music kind of thing. It's like, it's funny because I look at my wife.
He was pursuing more than music. Like, that was not like the music was the
But path. We all are, though.
Right.
He's no different than anyone else.
Yeah, because we're all sinners.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Kendrick Lamar song. Yeah.
Well, that's what I said. I said essentially we're all sinners. We're all the sinners. But yeah, I mean, essentially we kind of all are. I mean, according to the laws of religion, and fuck, man, even having impure thoughts, dude, I jerked off 3 times today. I sinned 3 fucking times, man. Like, so. But yeah, no,
man is not without sin. I mean, that's
of course. I mean, even Jesus sinned, right? So I don't know, man. Like,
what?
You don't have to like it.
Yeah, you don't have to like that. You don't have to like that we're damned, but it is.
No, it's just a funny premise, right? Like, we are literally all fucking sinners. Like, when you put it in perspective, like, you know, the people that should know better kind of thing, you put into kind of layman's terms, like the wife, she's the daughter of a preacher, and like, she's the black sheep of the family. She literally is the wild child. She's done all the crazy shit, like stuff like that. I'm like, man, I can't wait to tell her that she's going. I'm going to go upstairs right now and be like, "You're going to hell," and just go on with my day.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it's kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, we should probably touch on the fact that, like, this is kind of like the tale of 2 movies. So it's a 2 hour and 20-minute movie, basically. I would say the first,
it's like a total From Dusk Till Dawn type thing. Everybody's saying that. It
really is. Like I said, I didn't know one thing going into this movie. And like I said, I was 20 minutes into it. I'm like, this movie's about Robert Johnson. That's crazy. And then, but it's literally From Dusk Till Dawn. So if you're a fan of that movie, I can't see you not being a fan
of
this movie.
Half the movie is literal setup to this party.
It's honestly the exact same thing. It's like, you got these 2 brothers who are obviously criminals. They've done some shady shit. They're on the run because they did some shady shit in Chicago. They come back down to the South. They start up a club, hence, you know, I mean, From Dusk Till Dawn, they'll start up a club. They end up at a club, the Titty Twister. And then shit kind of turns into a vampire film. It's literally the same kind of thing. But I'm not going to take anything away from this movie. This is the best movie I've seen in a long time. I absolutely love this movie. I thought it was phenomenal. Like I said, the only thing I can really take away from it that I didn't care for was a little bit of the shitty, the snake thing. I 100% agree, but I thought the burning at the end was really long. It was up front. It was full screen.
Are you talking about, is there multiple burnings? Because I don't know if I'm talking about the same one.
No, we're probably talking about the same one, because there's one that's like, it's like,
are you talking about the one in the water or the one?
No, they're on land.
No, it's on
like
land.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, there's one that's it's like a close up. It's like a close up on screen.
Good. I would have to rewatch it, I guess.
Yeah, like there's some in the background that are that like literally do look on fire, and then there's like some closer to the foreground where it's digital fire.
Yeah, there's one that's right up front, like it's the full screen.
I don't know, like I feel like digital fire looks so similar to real fire to me. I don't know, like especially if
Really?
it's like close
I
up.
don't know,
I don't know.
man.
A
No,
digital
man, it
fire
looks
does not
bad.
bother me as
Like
much as
I remember, like what was that movie that came out last year? The first Omen, when I had the digital fire. Like I remember, like almost laughing in the theater. It looked so
Yeah,
bad.
digital
Really?
fire always looks
Yeah.
really, really fake to me. And like
Yeah,
a big
like the
production
fire,
like this.
like the digital effects, like have nothing, aren't really like anything that affects like my rating of the film. It would just like be better if it wasn't there.
Yeah, I just feel like it was one of those weird things where I've watched 2 hours and 10 minutes of an awesome movie and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's not really going to kill it for me, but I'm just like, why?
I really need to re-see it because I remember thinking like, damn, that's cool. Like I don't remember feeling like it looked bad.
I actually saw 2 posts today about the same thing. 2 people loved the movie. They said the exact same thing. I'm like, man, it was my initial thought. I even said to the wife, I'm like, man, what's the fucking CG burning at the end? And she's like, yeah, it looked kind of bad. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It felt out of place because the whole movie just felt so authentic. Like, you know, visually, everything was so good.
That's how I felt about the damn snake. I was like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah, like you just didn't have to put that in the movie.
That almost feels like something that a studio dude was like, hey, we
Yeah.
gotta have like some sort of like thrill here in the like
Mhm.
because the whole movie that has like nothing up until like the 50-minute mark or whatever, it's like fine, we'll do this in post or whatever. I don't know, like just it felt out of place. Like I do understand the context of the serpent as well with like religion has some meaning, but
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, just honestly, I can't wait to rewatch the film. It's really good.
Dude, I never do this. I was actually like, dude, I would go see this again. Like in the theater while it's still in the theater. Like I loved it. Like
I just love when they turn, dude. I love the characters when they turn and shit. Like you're not 100% sure if it's them or not. Like it's kind of a cool aspect. Like in modern, like, you know, most vampire films, when someone gets turned, you fucking know, right?
Mhm.
You know what's up. But there's multiple cases here where there's actually one incidence where they actually fucked up in the film, which is really fucking hardcore. And that's kind of a fucked up one. But yeah, I really like the aspect of them not really knowing and having to kind of figure it out and stuff like that. But yeah,
it also just has a lot of like badass moments, right?
Yeah.
Like almost like a dad movie type of badass, like where it's just like you just feel like it's cool looking, you know what I mean? Like just like the badassness of the characters, and you know, it sort of has some actiony type set pieces as well. But I loved all that stuff. It was great,
dude. I can't believe that I could see this movie being a lot of people's #1 film of the year. But like I said, though, it's a musical disguised as a horror film. It's going to be interesting because it really is. There's a lot of music pieces and a lot of really good stuff. And it just feels so authentic to me, man. Like I like when that group shows up and they start playing the tunes and shit, I'm just like, oh my God, it's so good. I really enjoyed it, man. Like there's a lot of scenes where there's so much tension, but it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So well done, but really, really good score, really good music pieces. I can't say enough about the characters. Like, you know, not too often you can sit there for an hour and enjoy everything you're seeing. You know, all these type of characters in and out, the backstory, they give you enough. They don't give you the full thing, which is really good, but they give you enough about all these characters and you get to know everybody. And that's why some of the deaths in the last act are actually kind of shocking and brutal and kind of sad. Like there's one person that dies. I'm not going to mention who it is. And I felt really bad for that person. I was like, shit, that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. There's actually like a lot of,
but that's why the movie works so well, is because we got to know these characters. And like Dave always talks about, he's like, you don't have to care about characters in a movie. And I'm like, I always say you do. You have to care. That's why.
Well,
it
I
works.
don't think you have to, but it when you do,
Depends on the movie.
It can really help.
I stand by my shit. I stand by my shit. I care about characters, man. Like even in slasher films, like you get the slasher films where there's literally no, like it's just stalk and kill. We don't care. It's like whatever.
Yeah, like
but a film like this, but a film like this,
Madman.
but a film like this, I'm not really a big fan of Madman, but like you get like this whole hour of development and shit, and you get to know it's just it's like over dramatic when people start getting picked off or whatever and dying off. You feel it, and I think it makes the film work so much better if you didn't get to know these characters. Like if they were just throwaway characters, fuck, whatever, who cares? I mean, we get one or two of those, but it doesn't really matter.
Ratings?
What do you give it?
Yeah, so this movie fucking floored me. It honestly, like, I had to think back like a few years to see if there was something that impressed me more in the theater.
Oh my
specifically
God.
In the theater.
Really?
Yeah, like even I had a better time with this than I had The Substance last year, which was my number one of last year. So
I already know where this
and
is
I
going.
love that movie as well. But yeah, this one just like floored me. Maybe it was also surprising just because I had no idea what it was or what to expect. And I just like I was in love with this movie by the end. And I'm like,
Oh no, you
I'm
don't.
kind of
Oh no,
I'm
you
kind of
don't.
like I'm kind of like an interesting rating person because it takes a like I could come up on this maybe.
Oh, that's
but
not what I was expecting you to say. Shit.
yeah. So right now I'm at a 9 out of 10, which is very standard for my rating system. Like I barely ever give out 10s in general for new movies. I can't. I think the last one I gave out was like The Witch or Hereditary. Maybe was my last 10.
I love how we're so different. I think, like I said, ratings are for dummies, to be honest. But I'm a little bit surprised by the 9.
It's hard for me to give a 10 to a first time watch. Like it really is for me sometimes. So
man, if I connect with something so much, right away, I'm just like, fuck, that's it for me. I'm at a 9.5.
Okay.
Like I said, I just a couple of the CG moments I was not a big fan of. And it seems to be the consensus too, because I actually saw a post from Tom yesterday too. Same thing. You know, I mean, we're practical people. It was really good overall. Great fucking movie. There's no complaints narrative wise, character wise, like everything. I mean, everything is so good. It sounds good. It looks good. I mean, it's paced well for a 2 hour and 20-minute movie. Never anything that was uninteresting. The characters were awesome. Michael B. Jordan fucking probably deserves a nod. Like I give a fuck about awards anyways, but I'm just saying, I'll throw it out there. But like as an ensemble cast though, I thought that everybody, whoever did the casting for this, did such a great job. Wardrobes were fucking amazing. The musical pieces, which are all original, fantastic. You know, I like I said, I can't wait to actually rewatch this one. So
yeah, I'm actually excited. I'll pick this up on 4K and definitely watch it before the year-end show.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I highly, highly recommend it, man. You know, so
and I also think it's a film that greatly benefits from seeing it in the theater.
Yeah.
So Dave Z, if you're listening,
those,
get
like,
the fuck
rumble
out
seats.
there, even if you have to pay.
dude, he's way too reclusory now, man. Need to get out. He's gonna miss Sinners. All right, Tyler.
All right.
Get your pussy ass. Get your pussy ass. People at home can't see, but he's got a cat on his back. It's literally a pussy on his back.
Tell me we at least talked you up a bit.
Well, not really.
God, he's stubborn as shit, man. He's stubborn as shit.
No, but here's the.
If it was directed by some guy named like Sergei Kashamakov, he would be like in a 10.
If this was a Mar Birdman film, man, he'd be like, yeah, this is a fucking 10.5 out of 10.
10.5.
I'm at an 8 of this movie.
An 8.
Yeah.
That is a shame.
So you did come up then, because didn't you give it a 7.5?
I'm at a 3.5 on Letterboxd, but I give movies on here 8s all the time. That I have 3.5 on Letterboxd. It's the ratings a little.
That
different.
makes no sense.
You could give it a 4, which would be 8.
Is an 8.
No, because when I'm rating horror and exploitation movies here, and I'm rating all movies on Letterboxd, so the scale's a little different.
I'm confused.
So some movies that are like really close, I will like bump up here, like this would like, but it's a 3.5 on Letterboxd, and that's one of those movies. But it's just, there's a couple things with the writing that without really getting into spoilers, that I just think could have been better. And I was just hoping, that's really what I was hoping for. And I will say though, this is like, because of the way like I'm critical of this movie, though it'll never go down in rating because I can only like be disappointed at like what I didn't get once rather than like something about the movie like I think is jarring. So like it's not a movie that's gonna go down. It's probably a more rewatchable movie than a lot of things. But it's definitely something you should see in the theater. It's like probably is like the best horror experience in theaters. Like over years. I like the substance a lot more, but I did have a better time in theater with this because I got to watch it in that rumbly seat thing with a lot of people in the theater. My theater wasn't as good as JP's, but it still was like fun to see with the crowd. It was like the substance. I was the only one there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's impressive, like a movie like this that has so much, substance to it, that wasn't trying to be over preachy, considering there literally was the whole religious preachy factor, and it didn't go full blown woke, which a lot of people will fucking, complain about and shit. But, yeah, it does a really good job of balancing out, keeping it real with the narrative and stuff like that. And like I said, if you're a big fan of From Dusk Till Dawn, like I can't imagine you not liking this. It's like, in a nutshell, it's like if From Dusk Till Dawn was set in Prohibition, we kind of get that, just different. Right.
It's funny. I definitely got From Dusk Till Dawn vibes, but like Demon Knight is like what I was thinking of more.
That's what I was thinking of.
I never thought of that once. I mean, it's literally the same construction. You got these criminals on the run, and then it changes into even with the club though. Even the fact that they even opened up their own club because they had stolen a bunch of fucking beer, which would even talk about, which I thought was super cool aspect of the film.
For me, like the Demon Knight aspect was that in From Dusk Till Dawn, it happens inside the bar, where in this movie they're outside, similar to Demon Knight.
Exactly.
Well, it starts inside. It starts inside here. You're right. It takes all place in the titty twister, but like in this film, it starts inside and it kind of goes outside. But like it's kind of the same thing, right?
It's a force trying to get in, and like I like in like a same.
It's a siege film.
There's like a mouth. Yeah, exactly. So it's it's kind of more of a siege than like From Dusk Till Dawn. It just, but like, there's that setup too, where like they have like a leader that's like their mouthpiece, like that they also had in Demon Knight. It's like a trying. Of
course, but I'm talking about the actual set, like the criminals on the run.
Yeah.
And you got this whole first half, and it turns into a vampire film. If you put that into perspective, in a nutshell, that's From Dusk Till Dawn, right? There's obviously going to be different aspects, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny when you like think about From Dusk Till Dawn. You're like, man, the movie's fucking awesome. It was like my favorite movie of '96.
I'm happy to see that almost like everybody I follow on Letterboxd has given it an 8 or above.
Yeah, I honestly don't care what people rate shit. I'm like, if I like something,
I want people to rate movies that I love high.
Yeah.
You don't?
I don't really think about it too much, to be honest. I don't really worry about it.
Yeah, I don't really care.
I feel like it gives it
I've come to the realization that like I have a different taste than a lot of people too. I mean, like, every time we do certain type of shows and stuff, but most people always side with you, JP. Like everyone's always like, like JP's picks better. Like it's always
no, they don't.
They always do.
Here's what happens. I will have 8 out of the 10 same movies as like the general polled audience that we get, and I'll lose the votes to Moodz. That's what'll happen, and I'll literally have 8 of the 10 that everybody.
But you know what, man? It's unfair though, man, because at this time, it's like it's stupid. It's like politics. It's like a popularity contest. I mean, I'm not trying to say I'm more popular. It's just the way people are.
That is what I'm trying to say.
But it's bullshit though, and you're right though. Like you definitely side more with the people, but I don't get it. I don't really understand. It's a bunch of bullshit. It's just a bunch.
The only thing I take away from this thing is that like me and Moodz are smart and Tyler's retarded. That's what I took away from this.
I love the fact that we're just dropping that shit on the show again, not caring. Fuck it. We're doing it.
When he was doing his rating, I wanted Jeremy to show up with a retard alert from South Park.
Oh my God, dude. I forgot about that. We should actually got to get a sample board, man. It is interesting. It is interesting, Tyler, because I honestly truly thought that you'd be higher on that. I thought it was pretty good.
I almost guaranteed that he would be higher, especially since like he talked more positively about the movie than negatively. And I think that I think something in his pretentious brain won't let him go higher, but I think that he likes it more than he's saying.
I think I want to
Why would I
see.
pretend not to like a movie? It's fucking dumb.
I don't know, because it's mainstream.
So
Do you ever rate mainstream movies really high? I feel like
Yeah.
you don't.
yeah.
I don't even.
Like
yeah,
what?
it's so
Name-
weird.
name 10.
We've been doing this show for so
I saw
long.
the TV going on a mainstream movie.
No, not at all. Shut up.
That's
Get
not a
out of
What's a
here.
mainstream? So like, what's a mainstream?
Sinners is a mainstream movie. Wide,
Sinners.
wide release theatricals are mainstream movies.
Okay. So what doesn't okay?
The Substance is a mainstream movie.
No,
It was-
Substance
okay.
is barely a mainstream movie.
You
Because
think?
it was, yeah, because it wasn't.
Dude, it
like,
literally won like how many awards at the Academy Award? Like that's crazy. Like
yeah, but
like,
that was
big awards.
fucking. That was a big, fucking shocking thing for most of us.
I mean, a million people have watched The Substance on Letterboxd. It's kind of at what point
Seems pretty
is
popular.
something-
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
I mean,
million?
popularity, it's not just about theatrical release, but it is about the popularity of a film, though, too. I think that one's pretty fucking mainstream, man.
There's a
But-
bunch
I would
of like
say-
classic
I would-
mainstream
I've
movies.
seen-
well,
that
it's funny because something like Texas Chainsaw Massacre was never a mainstream movie, but it's mainstream now. Everyone knows it,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It was definitely a cult film forever until it wasn't a cult film anymore. Everybody knows it. It's pop culture. It's pop culture, is what it is. So, yeah. I was going to say,
I would hung up on numbers too much.
I would love to see Michael B. Jordan, after seeing him in this role, do like a full blown traumatic, like gangster. Like, I know they don't make like hood gangster movies anymore, which is kind of a shame. I don't know what like we were so blessed in the early 90s. Well, you guys were just probably
I
down
think the pendulum's going to swing the other way in another few years.
Yeah, I would love to see that type of shit again, because like that era was so cool. But like I could see him doing something like that. That would be so cool. Like just a dramatic role. Like I saw him in this. I was like, man, that would be fucking awesome to see an updated version of these characters in modern times, say streetwise, not in like a really bad kind of cheesy action shit, but like a street film. I think Michael B. Jordan's a fucking excellent actor. Like I really did not think twice about him after watching the Creed movies, but I thought he was fine. He was fucking fine. I thought he was fine in those movies, but like after seeing this dual role and what he could do, like when you put it in perspective, like anybody that's casted in one role, it's a lot of work. He's doing two roles, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's a lot of lines. It's a lot of, and the characters were different. I just got the names all fucked up all night. So, but yeah, really, really good stuff, man.
It was also just a very fucking fun movie.
For a 2 hour and 20-minute movie, dude, I was like, I never checked my watch. I ate all my popcorn in the first hour, which I was pissed off about.
Dude, first hour. Dude, I'll eat all the popcorn before the trailers are over.
Yeah, well, actually, back in the day, if you could go get a refill before the movie started. So we used to do it. You go get a fucking popcorn. If you finished it, you go get a free refill. But they don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Really? They don't do free refills?
No, not well for us. They don't.
Well, they do it for us. They do, but I'm never.
Yeah,
finished
Can you
it.
get them anytime during the film?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I've never wanted
probably
more
get it on the way
popcorn
out.
after.
Damn.
Yeah, I've never like actually needed more popcorn after.
Yeah.
I always crush a fucking large popcorn in the theater, man.
Finish a large drink, but like I'm not gonna not pay 50 cents more for the drink that's like 4 times the size of the little one.
I never do.
Yeah.
I get the medium Coke
Me and
Zero
Carly
with no
share a
ice.
drink. We get no ice. What the fuck's wrong with you? I get the
because the ice
fucking
takes
biggest size Coke Zero.
I hate fucking watered down pop, man. Ugh.
My
If it
pop
starts
never
melting,
gets
it just tastes like shit. I can't drink
It's
it.
around long enough to be watered down.
No, I get no Coke or no ice. But yeah, the large popcorns with butter, I just crush those things, man. Theater popcorn's so good.
Me and Carly buy the bucket every year at AMC, so it's $5 to fill up.
That's awesome. It's fucking. Do you have to bring it every time? You actually
Yeah.
physical. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I actually don't really get.
I wish they would make a fucking drink cup like that. I'd pay $40 for one of those.
Yeah, like 7-Eleven used to have.
I get beer.
I used to buy those big, like they were basically a gallon cups. and you buy one for like $10, and it was to refill it every time you went. It was like $1 or something like that. So you get like 4 liters of pop for like $1. It was really not healthy. But
yeah. But anyways, that's Sinners from 2025. Is that going to make Tyler's top 10? Probably not. Is he going to be wrong according to JP? Fuck yeah, he's going to be wrong. He's going to be wrong because he's a dumb shit motherfucking retard.
He's going to make my top 10.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to.
This is shaping up to be a weird year.
Why is everyone so butthurt over an 8?
Because because it's that good. It's so good.
I just don't think it's that good. It didn't have a big effect on me.
Yeah, but that's just because you're dumb, though.
Is it because there was so many black people in that movie, or what? Tyler doesn't like black people, apparently.
That's what we came around.
Have you ever just sat there and been like, "Am I dumb?" Do you ever do that?
Particularly. I don't have.
I do that. I do that all the time, and I'm like, sometimes I walk away from it, and I'm like, actually, yeah, I am dumb. I just found that out.
No, this is in reference to like Jeremy, because this is something we would say to Jeremy. Like Jeremy would be like, "Oh, I give Sinners a 7.5." I'm like, "Why? Because you don't like black people?" So that would be the rip on him, right?
I've already used that joke.
I'm just fucking with you, man. There's white people in the movie.
No, there isn't.
Yes, there is. Fucking Josh Allen's wife is fucking. She's white.
I think she's quarter.
I don't actually think she is. I think that's just a character that she plays.
Hey, the racist guys were white.
Yeah,
no, those guys are fucking assholes. Those guys aren't white.
I don't know. I never looked into Josh Allen's wife. I'm assuming that I think she's wife, but she's she's good looking, man. She's hot.
Oh yeah, she's very beautiful. But yeah, no, I don't really care that Tyler is an idiot. I just, I like to make fun of him.
I would give From Dusk Till Dawn a lower score.
Would you really?
Yeah.
Dude, that's just crazy to me. You can't shit on shit with Harvey Keitel in it, man. Fuck, that's ridiculous, man. Selma Hayek is, I think she's one of the most beautiful women ever to grace the face of the earth. And she's great in that movie. And her character is based on satanic pandemonium.
I actually probably, if it wasn't for the credit scene, I probably would give this movie a 7.5.
Yeah, I came up a full.
Which credit scene? There's 2 credit scenes.
Like
are we talking
the one where like I don't want to say it. Yeah, like that's like there's more.
We'll just say the first credit scene or the second one.
Well, isn't it all like together?
No,
I felt like it was kind of all together.
No. There's one scene, and then
you're talking about with the quote, right?
Yeah.
So there's a scene in the credits, and then there's another one right at the end of the credits.
I just like counted it as one.
And then it just ends. It's really quick. The last credit scene is literally about 4 seconds long. And the wife was so mad. She's like, "We just stayed for that." And I'm like, "Shut up. I got to see it." But
yeah, that shit was dope though.
Yeah, no,
I agree.
The credit scene
that gave me like a half point just from
because that part like connected it back to like the strongest part of the movie for me. I thought it was like it was like very poignant. But
I was just getting like BB King vibes at that point. It was like, yeah, you guys know who BB King is, but pretty sweet.
Yeah,
I love BB King, man. Fuck. It was dope.
It was a fun time.
Yeah, it was a big surprise, dude. I love the fact that I went into the film not really knowing a thing about it. Like I knew nothing. I did not know this shit was going to be what it was. It was great. I love that. I love how I'm so ignorant. I stay really ignorant. Dope. I stay ignorant on purpose because I don't like to ruin shit for myself. I've been so good about it, not watching trailers, not reading reviews. I say fuck everybody when shit's coming out. And I'm like, I'm just take it for what it is. I think more people should do that.
I am curious to see what Tyler would think on a rewatch. If
he said it's not going to go down, but I think he's going to go down to a 7. He's going to notice.
Oh, dude, because like more of the negativity about this movie to me is because I just felt like it was building up to like a much higher ceiling, and I felt like the second half of the movie like just didn't like make great on the foundation that the first half left to, and like that little scene afterwards I felt was like completely out of a different movie. And I kind of felt like that was hold on, because I felt like that was something that even like the studio said we got to put a little bit of this in there, because we need to like make this like marketable. Because I honestly don't think that scene would have been.
You think at 2 hours and 20 minutes in the movie they needed to make it marketable? Like, I
they
mean,
needed to throw in a straight like action scene. They
Wait,
needed to
which
put
scene
in
are
a
you
little,
fucking talking about, bro?
the one like the next day.
Are you talking about like the military shit?
Nazi shit.
Oh, yeah. So like, I don't want to say it because it's like saying something that would be a surprise to someone watching for the first time.
Are you talking about the shit with the Browning rifle?
Yeah.
The
Oh
leader,
no, that
the
shit totally fit, bro.
KKK leader. Are you talking about the KKK leader?
Yeah, I thought that like was like out of a different movie.
Really?
And I kind of felt like the studio
Even
said, like, we
the
gotta put
part
this-
where
All it
even
did
the
was
part-
tie the
the
loose
whole
ends. It
idea-
tied the loose ends. He told him.
No, but the whole setting up of that, and then the fucking running across like he's rambling and pulling another one out of the ground, like that just
but he's
kinda made me
military,
go,
bro.
It just made me go, come on, dude.
He's military, dog.
It just felt like it was from a different movie to me. But
I don't know.
I
I
just
felt like,
wanted-
especially when it like sort of gets all spiritual, I felt like that was meant to be.
maybe we're talking about the next time, like in the daylight,
No.
right?
You're frozen.
Oh no, you're frozen. We're talking about the next day, like in the daylight, right?
Yeah. It gets real
Okay.
spiritual in the.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
don't
thought
wanna
that was
say
like
it,
a
but-
little overly sentimental. I didn't like that.
Oh
I
my
didn't like
god,
that.
dude! It was so touching.
It was
It
not
mattered
touching to
so
me. It kind of
much,
made me
bro.
like go like we get it.
The problem is, dude, you don't have a heart.
No, because dude,
You
I
cry
cried,
over
dude.
like little like cartoons and shit, but like you don't have a heart, dude.
Nah, dude. You're just like
If it's real, you're like, no.
I thought it was
I'd
like
rather watch it
I thought it was a little
animated.
cheesy. But I just think it would have been better.
I could
without
see
that.
where that could come off cheesy if the things didn't happen earlier in the movie, but I felt like
it felt
earned
unfitting
it.
to me, and I think the
earned that
movie could have
moment.
just like
But my big problem with that scene is like that the people's idea of like, wait, what the fuck were they gonna do? Like the party would be over by now.
yeah, they
Like
were gonna go on.
that
like,
was very
destroying the
kind of
place.
poorly planned. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, like so
I was
this is
that
like
didn't
one
actually-
thing that could have been. So imagine like we never got the scene where we like found out like where the vampire was, and then like the clan just showed up, and you didn't know they were vampires, and they were trying to get in, and it would like. And then, like when they finally got, it would be like a big surprise.
Yeah,
Like that's
I
something
thought
else.
that's
some
actually
people-
what was. I thought that was what was going to happen.
Like I guess part of it is like I felt like they tipped the hand a little early too. Like it could have been like you could have either made it like a big surprise or just like I don't know, like tied it in like.
You think the scene where they were being chased into the farmhouse was kind of tipping the cap, but I think it was kind of like it was also
I think it was kind
showcasing
of
how.
say like, hey, some shit's finally about to go down.
But
Like, the night's
it also
falling, this is
showcases
important.
them turning this like creating. That's what creates the band, like the fucking
Right.
demon band kind of thing, right? So you kind of need.
Yeah, but why do they have to show us that? I can't like.
I mean, you don't have to. In
Like, 'cause
theory,
the
you
thing
don't
is,
have
when
to.
they show
Okay,
you
but
that,
hold
this
on,
is the
Tyler.
thing, though.
What does it do? What
This
what
is
harm does it do?
this is one thing. This is like because this is one part where I feel like it's forced a little because they basically just plop the vampire into the movie by having him get chased into this place that happens to be like nearby of this little thing of where this event is happening. So it kind of just turns into I'm a vampire. I just showed up and I hear music. I like music too. Where like if you didn't show the vampires at all, maybe you tied in the natives a little more. I don't know. I'm not a Hollywood writer, but if you found like a way to like make it a surprise or make like
Why does
them
it
play
have
the-
to be a surprise though?
because I'm trying to let, or you can incorporate, or either you could do that so it'd be a surprise and it'll be more tense, or you could use like the music, like that whole scene with like the spirits of past and present to make it more of like a definitive like spiritual calling to like these vampires that could have been like anywhere that are now like tracking like this sound. I felt like by just kind of dropping them off and showing you what they were, like it lowered like the ceiling, what this movie could have been, and like it took away some of the foundation that it built up. Like it didn't like completely utilize all that.
I don't know, bro.
I don't. I mean, I just. I feel like the narrative is actually really well done.
I feel like it makes. I feel like it makes
or you
sense.
could have just not used vampires at all, and you could have
point.
just like made like the spiritual calling some other type of like demonic entity. Like maybe it really does become
Right, but it
like,
doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It's.
I think it would be a more it would have created a movie that I think would have been more unique, because I thought like the uniqueness and like how like deep it was going slow, like lost some of that once.
Yeah, but I feel like they do that by tying the vampires back to like a more like dark rooted, like demonic thing.
Well, if that was the case, then what they shouldn't have just dropped the vampire. Like,
What do you mean? You keep saying just dropped. What are you talking about?
Because the vampire, they show the vampire happened to end up like in the area because he got chased there.
Wait, he happened to end up in the area. How do you know he wasn't going in that area already?
Because he was getting chased by the natives. He was getting tracked.
Right, he got chased by the natives in this area. Like he's in this area. Like he's obviously in this area for a reason.
You know what's kind of funny? I was thinking about this after so many times. There's like a whole nother story there.
When there was still daylight, the music wasn't playing yet, so he wasn't hearing.
Dude, the kid's been playing music his whole life. What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh my god!
Like, dude, the
place?
dude is attracted to this kid, bro.
Yeah.
He was in that area because of the kid.
Yeah, he was in that area because
he wasn't
of
just
the music.
running through the woods and happened upon these people.
So obviously there was some type of native band around that area.
If you would have made that more, I feel like if
maybe you just missed it. Maybe it went over.
No, but seriously, man. No, but seriously, they were attracted to the music. They're in that area because of what was happening in that area with the music and stuff like that. There's obviously a native band in there. They're connected to the spirituality of the religion, all that type of shit.
Wait, hold on. You think he's at these people's house and then he hears the music playing over there and that's when he hears about the kid?
Yeah, well, basically, yeah.
What?
How does it not make sense? Because they wouldn't be playing music
because they allude to the fact that these people, that this guy, like he's not just happened upon this party. Like he's in that area because the kid has been attracting the evil presence for some time now.
Yeah.
It's already begun.
Tyler, the reason why those entities are even there is because of him. So wherever he is, they're coming towards him the entire time. The only reason why we get introduced to them in that scene is because somehow, which is unexplained in the movie, which is kind of, you could have a dog on it.
Caught up with the engines or
the natives, the engines. Jesus Christ, we're not going that route, are we?
I didn't know. I don't know.
Don't fucking say that in Canada. You'll be shot to fucking death on the spot. But yeah, you do not say that. But even my native friends don't like that term. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, so it is kind of unexplained in the film why the natives are chasing them, but you also have to realize this is a film. You need a reason for them to be bailing into a house. You know, you need a reason to introduce the characters and stuff with. It is what it is. I mean,
I don't think you had to do that. I just don't. I think it just makes.
But I'm saying that scene leads into them changing that couple into what turns into the band. That turns into the band. That's actually a key thing in the film.
Why do I have to know that though? Why do you also have to make them KKK people so I know that they're nearby? Like I think it just does. It over explains itself a little too much. It tips its hand.
I like when they cheat. Like, I mean, like I had a complaint about the natives. Like, I mean, it didn't really make a lot of sense because they don't show back up in the film at all. But you know, it is what it is. But them chasing them into that house kind of makes sense to me because it creates that band. It creates that fucking, you know, that trio, that focus, that kind of demonic entity that's going to be, you know, the force that's at the club. Right. So I get that why they showed that. I get why they did
something for me. I don't think it needed to show.
But they're in the name. But the point that JP's trying to make, they're in that area because the preacher's son's close by. That's why they're there. They're only there because of that reason. They're not in fucking Oklahoma or they're not in fucking California. I mean,
we learned that at the beginning of the movie when the father of the kid is saying you're bringing this upon you, boy. Like you're like that. it's
He's
been
magnetic to
happening
it.
already.
It's basically a
It's
magnetic.
not just like this one day they heard him playing music going down the road and that attracted him, and he's been attracting them to him.
Yeah, he's magnetic to it.
Not sold.
It's like a magnet.
What do you mean not sold?
I'm not
Based
sold.
on what?
But that's exactly what the
Wait,
narrative is.
hold
So
on, Tyler.
you should
You
lower
can't
your
just say
rating to
not
like a 5
sold.
out of 10 because that's exactly what's going on.
What about what I just said doesn't make sense or if it seems wrong?
I just don't see it that way, and I don't see what I see with what the preacher said to him. I see it more as like not in a literal sense what he's saying, even though you could take it that way. I feel like it's more,
But it is
of a
literal.
deterrent
It's
to
literally
keep
what
him, like-
happens.
But that's
No, but
literally what's happening in the
But
movie.
I feel like it's more said in the context to establish like a domineering father, like keeping him under like
That's
his way.
yeah, that's why the father is saying that, but he also believes this stuff too.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But we actually see in the movie,
Tyler, he's
that
not
there
just being a
actually
father.
are evil things.
he's
following this.
practicing and preaching what he believes within religion, though. Also, he knows that if you fuck with the devil, it might actually happen. It's
I don't
religion.
know.
It's religion.
It just doesn't work for me.
It's
So
almost
why-
like a
why-
premonition, but it's
Tyler,
not a
why does-
premonition. He
why does-
understands this as a
Why
preacher.
does it make more sense to you that it happened the way you thought it did versus
It
the way
makes
that
more
we said?
sense.
Going
to
back
me.
to the fact that you said that you don't
You
understand why
said your
they're in the
complaint
area.
was they were just dropped
No, I
off.
don't
We
not
explained away
understand why
that
they're in the
complaint.
area, but I felt like if there was a more like natural way of them coming upon them, other than like him being chased into this house and like showing you they're vampires, it would have made for a better film.
The
But we just
only
told you
thing
that is what
but
happened.
even outside of that, I'm just looking for ways that I'm just looking for a way I think it would have made the vampire angle more. I'm not necessarily saying this movie even like has to even be a vampire movie as like kind of my critique of it. I think it would have been better if it was just something else, and like that the spiritual calling had like was I wanted
could
it
say
to
that
go,
about
like,
any
more
movie,
into,
though.
like I felt like it was building it up to be some more of a mysticism.
Were you like, oh, it's just vampires? Is that like?
I feel like he's
No, I
never
already
seen
knew it
From
was
Dusk Till Dawn
vampire.
before. He's like,
dude, it's just like but like the reveal. Well, From Dusk Till Dawn's a little different because it's never From Dusk Till Dawn's like it's not deep. It's just like an action like horror film.
movies don't have to be deep, though. That's what
I understand that, but I felt
But this
like it
is
built a
deeper
film.
than you would expect for a movie like this.
Yeah,
it's
well, it
not
has a
like-
religious
it's not-
factor. It has it
I
has a
just-
lot of things going on. Yeah,
I felt like it was building the foundation to be something special, and it defaulted a little bit to, well, not a little bit. It defaulted to a siege movie that made it not so special, and that action part of the film was much less interesting to me than the first half of the film.
Are you kidding me?
Don't you
Even in
think
the
you're
third
kind of-
act,
hold on. But don't you think you're kind of saying it just a siege movie? Like, don't you think you're kind of like downplaying what actually happens in the movie?
Not really.
dude, that's what I'm trying to say. Even in the third act, if you consider it just to be a siege movie, man, there's still all these fucking really
I'm not saying
intimate
it's not
moments
done
within
well.
the characters, and there's all these moments that happen within these characters and in
It
those
just- the
siege
movie
moments that
didn't-
you call them that
the
are
movie
really
didn't grab me like
appropriate
that.
within the
I don't
narrative.
know
And
what you
they're
want me to say. The movie didn't grab me like that.
No, and that's fine. It's fine for it to not grab
it's
you,
interesting. Yeah.
but for you to stand on the hill of saying that this guy just showed up and was just dropped into the movie, and then after I explain how it has a connection and then it still be stuck on that hill and not be like, oh, I didn't really think of it that way. Maybe
I know.
you-
I could even concede that point. It just doesn't really make a difference.
One thing I will
Well,
question about that scene,
Here's
JP.
the thing, Tyler. It should make a difference because you're saying that your critique is
Okay,
that
all right. So I'll
it's
say
dropped off.
this. So like you can make a difference in the point where like maybe there's more the film covers stuff more why like they would even be in the area whether like natives were around to track them enough, but I still don't like that scene of them like showing you they're a vampire beforehand and then like introducing like this band
Okay.
of people.
Okay, so
That's
I
better.
understand what you're saying there, but the one complaint I have with that now that we've been talking about it over and over again, like I mean, I completely understand why they're in the neighborhood because they're obviously looking for their boy. Is how the fuck are they being chased all day that it gets to the point of dusk where they start burning?
That is fair.
Because my complaint when I was first watching the film, like, or when I first finished the film, I was thinking, I was like, they're vampires. They know they have an expiry date when it comes to sun and shit like that, right?
Mhm.
So are they being like we have no story what's happening with the natives and how long they're being chased for, but like it's obviously gone to the point where there's some sun there.
Yeah,
right?
the way I guess I took it, because I didn't think about it too hard, but immediately I would just think like maybe like they've been tracking him for a while.
That's how I took it after, but it's the only way you can kind of explain it. But like how
and they were like searching for him in the area and they found him, but they found him, like at dusk. So like there's like enough time for him to get
that's
killed
how I
by
took
the
it.
sun, but just like
But again, JP, the argument is that they were in the area for a specific reason. But like you think in the area, like nighttime is generally 6 to 8 hours kind of thing. Like, I mean, there's obviously sun coming up at one point, which causes him to fucking burn.
Well,
he would have had to
they're
be there
not from
beforehand,
the
then.
area though, right? Because the characters specifically say that natives aren't around this area.
Mhm.
Well,
So
we know,
they had followed
like,
this
those,
guy
like,
to
the
this
clans
area.
people are from the area.
What's
Fair
that?
enough.
We know the
Yep.
clans people are from the area.
No, I buy into that because I mean, if they're being chased for so long and the distance allows it to be sunny, that's what happens at the end of the day, right? That's the end of the route.
Yeah.
He gets in there at the end of the thing. So yeah, sure. Okay. I mean, there's so many ways. I mean, this movie's it's fucking almost 2.5 hours long. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of subtext. There's a lot of characters.
I just don't think it's like incredible.
Right. Yeah. No, you gave it a good rating.
What's the actress that plays
the
she's the bigger black girl.
I forgot her name, but
I really like her.
She's in some of those Marvel movies.
Is she?
So before.
Okay, that makes sense, man. Because I don't know.
And so was the other girl that was like the cousin's girlfriend.
Yeah, she's fucking cool, man. I like her.
Oh, and just to so I don't get canceled or whatever, I did not mean, I thought what they called them or whatever was just Apache, Chickasaw or whatever. I just thought it was the type of Indian they were. My bad, bro.
You technically can't even say Indian anymore because look at the Cleveland.
Oh, God damn it. Or Native Americans. My bad, bro.
Actually, the only term, so it's gotten so crazy in Canada. The only term that is politically correct is indigenous. You can't even say native anymore.
Really?
Yeah. Indigenous is the term. But if you talk to native people, they're just like, whatever. Half of them they don't mind being called Indians. So it is what it is. But it's political shit, though. It's government shit, right?
My context is I'm not trying to be.
It's white people that control the government and they control all this shit. And they're like, hey, we don't like the term Indian anymore. So we're going to say the Cleveland Indians they can't have that shit anymore. So it's bullshit. But I'm super glad that the Redskins are getting their shit back, though. That's awesome.
Are they?
Apparently.
I don't think so.
It's in the pipeline. It's in the pipeline. They're fighting for it. And that's the natives. They're fighting for that shit back. It's them that's fighting. The reason why it got changed is because white people are like, it's offensive.
Yeah.
Fucking white people.
The guy on the helmet was an actual guy.
Yeah.
It's based on a real chief.
Oh yeah. The natives are pissed about that shit. They're like, that's someone that we look up to and that's kind of garbage. We never asked for it. They never asked for it to be removed. That's the problem with this thing. It was fucking white America. It's that whole.
Yeah, you fucking white people ruin everything, dude.
Yeah. Well, I'm not white either, so. But
yes, you are.
Actually, I forgot. Yeah, I am. But
me and Tyler are.
I don't associate. I don't associate with being
Islander.
White. What is that? I don't. Yeah, I don't associate with being white. No, I'm just joking. But anyways.
I'm a Pacific Islander.
Yeah.
I mean, in this in this day and age, man, it's almost embarrassing to be white sometimes because the wokeness is so bad. It's actually embarrassing. It's embarrassing. But whatever.
All right. We should probably get out of here before we fucking say something else or I say something else stupid.
Fully get canceled here or whatever. Fucking canceled. We're not getting canceled.
I claim ignorance on the dumb shit that I say.
Dude, remember that time you called someone a Jap and like someone just got fucking just livid? I was
Dude,
like, bro,
never say that again, bro.
I was like,
I did. First of all, I did not call anybody.
no. You were talking about ignorance. It was just one of those things you just didn't know. Like,
I have a tendency to shorten every word that I say because one, I'm lazy, and two, I can't spell. So when I say like I want to watch like a move instead of movie, like me and Carly say move. So like I just said like I'm not a big fan of Jap ghost stories. I just didn't feel like spelling Japanese because I probably didn't know how. And I didn't realize that what I was saying was like bad because I'm just lazy and dumb. So some dude like flipped on me and I was like, dude, I didn't even know what I was doing, bro. Like I was just saying like I'm not a big fan of Japanese ghost stories, but I got lazy and didn't type out the word. I didn't mean it in any sort of like bad way.
It's funny too. It was a Canadian dude, I think too.
It was.
That's funny.
Hey, buddy, that's not cool.
Hey, buddy. And he's actually from the far East Coast too.
Everybody came and defended me from like Dave Z to like Jamie. Like everybody was like, no, JP's just stupid. He's not racist. He doesn't know how to spell things.
If I had been able to talk to the guy directly too, I would have been like, bro, stop it. Like, come on, man. But whatever.
But I felt really dumb during that. And I was like, shit. Good times.
I mean, this is, they make for good stories, man. We've been podcasting for 13 years. Shit's going to happen. Shit's going to go down. Shit's going to be said that you might regret. You might not regret. I don't think I've ever said anything on the podcast I fully regret ever. I don't live like that. There's mistakes that have been said. I don't regret them. We're human, man. We say stupid things.
I said that Leprechaun Origins wouldn't suck. I said that Hellraiser's overrated. There's a few things. That
but those things you shouldn't regret. Those are just bad predictions.
Right. Yeah. But yeah.
All right, man. So yeah, that's going to conclude episode 292 here on the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror podcast. Of course, next week we're going to be back with our, I was going to say annual. Fuck, maybe it will be annual. I don't know. Hidden Gems Volume Dukes. Yeah. So if you guys didn't catch it off the top of the show,
should be exciting.
I'm looking forward to the picks. Definitely looking forward to the picks from everybody. Actually, it's one of those shows that we don't discuss pre-hand. We have no idea what we're going to be talking about, so it's not only a surprise for you guys, it's also for us. So pretty cool. Looking forward to it.
Dope.
That is going to conclude the episode, man. Check you guys next week, and as usual, deuces.
Peace.
Tyler's a retard.
You can't say that word.
That's all, folks.